Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. Good morning and welcome in everybody to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, as that beautiful song said, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Coop, aka Andrew Cooper. Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, boys?
Oi.
I don't know how to follow that one up.
Girl.
Oi. Oi.
Oh, I thought you said boy. You said oi.
He does boy out there.
Aye. Oh.
Right.
If you
watch
change the
football?
vowel, it changes the nationality. A. I. Like it's just like it's just ooey. What is the Y? JL, say that word with a Y or with a U at the beginning is what I meant. I forgot my letters for a second.
I feel like oi is like that's like
A whale?
yeah.
That's whale speak, bro.
That's whale speak. I took classes when I was younger, taught by Ellen DeGeneres on how to speak whale. She had to learn it to play the role of Dory. So
Really?
you could say I'm a bit of an expert. Yeah. She had to take whale classes, whale language classes at the Finnish University of Linguistic Studies up there. Yeah, it's pretty wild what they teach up there. But as much as everyone wants to hear about that, we had a whole weekend of badass football that we need to go over today. I swear this season is broken. Things aren't making sense, but we're gonna get in there. Before we start hitting that news, we've got people in the chat ready for today's show. Craig in here said, "Happy Monday, guys! Rise and shine." I've risen. I'm not shining yet though.
You shining, baby.
I'll shine one of these.
You shining, baby.
Shining the
10
moment you
minutes
woke
and I'll
up.
be shining.
Oh, you shining.
Tommy in here says, "Yo, time for the show." Happy
Yo.
Tommy's
What's up,
Raiders
Tommy?
finally won, dude. Congratulations.
Happy Tommy Day.
You guys
Happy
are
Tommy.
super megastars now.
Is this Tommy Day? I can't wait to talk
Tommy
about
Day.
the Raiders game. I'm gonna say so many nice things.
Mm.
Squirrel Bob in here said, "Lovely rainy morning. What's up, fellas?" And Maria saying,
Good day.
rain.
So
There
much
was some-
rain here. It is so cold and so wet, and I hate it.
So much rain.
Are.
So much rain everywhere. There were
Everywhere.
so many rain games, I feel like, where I was just watching over the weekend. I was like, looks awfully wet there. It looks pretty wet where they are.
Pretty wet.
We got some news that went down this weekend, and I'm going to start off with a big piece of news. I think Steelers fans were waiting for this, but the Pittsburgh Steelers' Kenny Pickett replaces Mitch Trubisky at QB, rushes for 2 touchdowns, throws 3 interceptions, and lost to the New York Jets. The Steelers did bench Mitch Trubisky at halftime at Acrisure Stadium, not at Heinz Field anymore. And it ended with a 24-20 loss to the Jets and a pretty big question mark for Mike Tomlin going forward after this performance from Kenny Pickett, probably. Coop, what'd you think of Kenny Pickett's debut, and do you think we're going to see him as the starter next week?
It's hard to say. I mean, as funny as it is on paper, I don't think that interception was really his fault.
No.
But it bounced off the shoulder. But you got to go up and high point that ball with your hands, baby. You can't be letting that get picked off. Not the first pass the guy throws, dude. Come on. But I don't know. They were pretty conservative with the play calling with him. And their schedule is brutal. So I could see them going back to Trubisky, just kind of saying, it was a 1-game benching, but you never know. Did they come out and say what they're going to do yet?
Tomlin was non-committal on his week 5 starter, so it creates the potential for Pickett to take over full time. But Coop, I think you're right. I don't think we should view this move necessarily as him making the switch full time, but it's a possibility. I'm waiting to see it. JL, what did you think about Kenny Pickett's debut? Do you think he's going to take over this backfield? Not backfield.
I thought it was
know
pretty
what I'm saying.
decent for a rookie quarterback.
Field.
Back of the field, yeah. No, I thought it was pretty decent for a rookie quarterback. He didn't blow our socks off, right? He was relatively measured, but 2 rushing touchdowns. Woo, that's pretty hot for your first NFL debut.
Leading the team in touchdowns.
Leading the team in touchdowns. Is that
Whoever,
true? Yeah,
whoever.
I don't think anyone else got more touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he's leading that team in touchdowns. And it's if he is the starter now, his first actual start will be against the best team in football, the Buffalo Bills. Arguably the best team in football, maybe the Eagles, but yeah, the Bills. So that's going to be fun for him.
Yeah, that'll be if he struggled with. Not that the Jets defense is the worst in the league, but it is not the Bills defense.
No Bills.
Squirrel Bob in the chat. Pickett rushing for 2 TDs crushed all my Najee Harris shares yesterday. Yeah, there was a lot of that going around. Like, what is Daniel Jones doing? Stealing all the touchdowns from Saquon Barkley too. Like, and there was another one of those, I'm pretty sure too, where I just looked at it and I was like, if you just take these lame rushing touchdowns and move them over to the running back, we would all be a lot happier.
The Daniel Jones was bizarre because it felt like he did it once. You're like, oh, wow, he was wide open. He just waltzed in there. And then the second time you're like, that's literally exactly what they did last time. You idiots, Chicago Bears. Like, what are you like? Like, it was literally the exact same thing he did on the last one. Like, the Giants were like, oh, just running back worked pretty good last time. And the Bears were like, oh, never saw that coming. And then we're sitting here. A bunch of sad Khalil Herbert.
Barkley runs for 146 yards, and then Daniel Jones gets both the touchdowns. Sick, dude. Hey, carrying water.
Absolutely sick. Yesterday, the Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh defended going for the touchdown over the field goal on 4th down in the loss to the Buffalo Bills by saying it gave them the best chance to win. They did end up losing that game 23-20 after going for that touchdown. And downplayed the emotional sideline outburst with cornerback Marcus Peters that ensued afterwards. JL, as a Ravens fan, what do you think about that decision by Harbaugh?
I think it was great. The analytics say you should be making those moves, right? No, I think it was fine. You don't know how the end of that game is going to go, right? And so we're looking at the outcome and going, oh, what a stupid decision. But he makes that move and he wins the game, and everybody's talking about how smart he is. So what's the difference, right? It's the only difference is the outcome. And it's a probabilistic game. You don't know whether you're going to make it or not. Sometimes you got to take a shot. I'm totally fine with it.
Fully on board with that, dude. Go for it, dude. Anytime you can take the game in your hands, do it, right? Like,
you have control. You're not at the mercy of the other team.
Right. Look, the Bears did the opposite, and it was the same outcome, except for the Bears looked stupid, right? Like punting. Right. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
It's just like, if you can, and I hate, I guess sometimes it does work in overtime if you get the wind and blah, blah, blah. But like, for the most part, like, if you don't think your offense can score, then you don't deserve to win anyway, right? So just go for it.
Craig in here saying Chicago was barely watchable. Barely watchable. Good one, Craig.
Craig is on probation.
No, but I'm with more of those. This Ravens game. That's what we love to see, right? Like, that's the kind of decisions we like seeing from coaches. It's fun football and it's smart football. It makes sense. They lost the game, but Jail, I'm so jealous that of all the NFL teams, you get to, like, I know this was a loss, but I swear every single week we're talking about how much fun the Ravens game was. Like, I feel like there's not a week where we're not like, man, that game was so much fun. That game was so much fun to watch.
That one was tough to watch. They should have won that game. They just gave up towards the end. Really, it is really what it comes down to. It looks like the defense just kind of like gave up. They were getting beat, and a few bad breaks, didn't go their way, and just they lost it. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And you're right, Simon. It is just fun every week watching it. I'd rather have that and the heartbreak than not.
Speaking of gave up, Devin Singletary, when he fumbled, did you guys see that, dude? Like,
no.
It bothered me how he fumbled, and then before the ball was like even recovered, it seemed he just got up and like started walking to the sideline. He's like, "Well, I'm on break."
No. Yeah,
he just like it got ripped out of his hands, and he's like, "Well, my job is done here," and just walked away. I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, at least pretend like you're upset for a moment, maybe, right?
Or like try, do the little like half jog. Like, oh no,
exactly.
Shoot,
I'm on break.
My B, guys, my B.
That'd be like working at a restaurant and you drop a tray full of dishes, all the food on, and you just walked away.
Everybody comes and cleans, and you just walk.
It was exactly like that, though. Like, he was literally like, "You guys got that, right? All right, I'll be over here."
I see Daniel Whitmore in the FYF YouTube chat saying, "Morning, fellas. Brutal week for injuries again. Lost Javonte and Burks. Already lost Trey Lance, Dak Prescott, and DeAndre Swift. Just flipped Dotson for Melvin Gordon in the hope that they go back to him. Good move, or has he lost trust?" What do you think, Coop?
Good move, man. good. I think it's a great move because if Javonte's hurt, now you have the back. I mean, like Mike Boone. I know Mike Boone came over to the Vikings with George Patton, the GM. Like I know they like him there, but they don't like him enough to use him at all right now, right? So if Javonte's hurt, it's going to be Melvin. And if Javonte's not hurt, they might have lost trust in Melvin, and you still have Javonte. So I like doing that move, hedging your bets. John Dotson's been, he had the one good game, but he's been just okay. So I love that move, really.
Yeah, Dotson hasn't been really getting enough targets for it to be that enticing for him. He's kind of in that like wide receiver 3 / with wide receiver 2 upside carousel that we see a lot of receivers get on. I like this too. We saw last night, it looked like the latest news I saw was that the Broncos believe that it might be a serious knee injury for Javonte Williams, which I don't know about you guys. I've never seen that not come attached with like a season-ending injury. Right. When the team is saying they fear that something is wrong, I feel like it's almost always something serious.
It's that word right there, right? Whenever they say fear, like that always means they're never like, oh, we fear, and then they turn around and they're like, oh, never mind, he was fine. Like once you say fear, it's over.
It feels like they came out and that's their word.
Javonte Williams fears clowns and needles, but his knee is fine. Everything's good.
Totally fine. Unless you're in a individual clown player league, don't worry about it.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Let's check their schedule to see if they play the Giants.
Any clowns?
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is definitely a clown.
Rude.
Now, hopefully Javonte Williams is okay, but this is the kind of move to make. And right now is the time to make it, because if Javonte Williams is not okay, then I doubt you're getting Gordon for Dotson. Like if we find out Javonte Williams is out for the entire season, right? Like you're not going to be able to trade just Dotson for the starting running back for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
I don't think.
All offseason, I was off Javonte Williams, liked Melvin Gordon, and just like they're going to split. There's no reason they wouldn't. And then I went out and drafted him in my big hometown league in the second round. And I don't know why a poltergeist compelled me to do that, dude, because it's just like I sit here and tell other people not to do that. And then I'm like, oh, I can't pass up this value in the second round in a 14-team league. It's just like, dude,
Man, Coop, I think I'm now the tight end whisperer. I don't know if you heard me on yesterday's show. I think it was yesterday evening I was talking about it, but I've now started Will Disley twice this year out of necessity. And both times he scored a touchdown, and I'm starting to get freaked out a little bit.
Why are you so smart, dude?
I don't know.
You're not the tight end whisperer, Jail. You're specifically the Will Disley whisperer.
This time he actually did play 73% of the snaps. So this is his biggest snap share thus far. So you kind of caught him on the upswing and everything, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, and Geno Smith's best game worked out pretty good, right?
MVP, future MVP, Geno Smith.
Mega star.
Top 5 by passer rating in the league QB, Geno Smith, superstar over there.
Why don't we talk about that?
And Tommy, here's saying you should be whistling Disley, JL.
Whistling Disley.
Disley.
Dizzle whispers. We had some more stuff go down this week. Trevor Lawrence, after the game, said, weather, no excuse. I have to play better. The Jaguars opened this Sunday's game against the Eagles with 2 quick touchdowns, going up 14-0, but the lead was gone by halftime, and they wound up losing 29-21 on a rainy day there in Philly. Trevor Lawrence had a big hand in the turnaround. He lost 4 fumbles and threw an interception over the final 3 quarters of the game. And those Eagles takeaways turned into 22 points, which led them to that win. JL, rough day for Trevor Lawrence in a rough weather game. But do you think this Jaguars team has better days ahead of them with Trevor Lawrence under center?
Yeah, 4 fumbles is brutal. If you were watching this game, you saw they were in a torrential downpour for a lot of it. The Jaguars offensive line was just not holding up. The defensive line from the Eagles was able to multiple times just reach out and like smack or tap the ball or punch the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands. And so, I respect him for going out there and saying like, oh, it wasn't the weather. It wasn't all the weather, right? I think that's the right thing to say. But I don't think it was all Trevor Lawrence too. I think
if it wasn't the weather, then don't mention the weather. That's such a that phrasing is exactly the way that you blame it on the weather. You know,
Unless
we
you're
can't
asked
blame
that,
this on
right?
the
Like,
weather, everyone.
we don't know what question he was asked,
It's
right?
like,
Because
don't
he could have
mention
been
the weather at
asked,
all.
"Do you think the weather affected your gameplay this week?" And then maybe he said that.
You should have just said no.
He did. He did. That's exactly what he said. He's like,
No,
can't
he
blame the
didn't.
weather. It was me.
No.
I got to play better.
He
And
said
Coop's like,
no.
I'm not
He
good
said
enough.
no excuse. No excuse.
That's
No
a
excuse.
classic. That's
Coop's
the
like,
classic
no.
way. No, that's a classic way to blame whatever it is you want to blame, dude. Right? Like you go out and you say, "Oh, you know, we can't blame the weather, and we can't blame James Robinson for fumbling, but I need to play better." Like you just list all your excuses first, and then say you can't blame those, just so that everyone hears the excuse. Like, get out of here, dude. You're blaming the weather. Don't mention the weather if you don't want to blame the weather.
Coop's got a thing for weather. Trevor Lawrence, he'll have better days. He won't fumble 4 times a game.
He needs to throw it to Evan Ingram. That's the problem.
That might be the problem. Is that why you're all butthurt about this? Is it an Evan Ingram thing?
I think the Evan Ingram experiment, unfortunately, folks, is over. I mean, he once again played 75% of the snaps, but he's just not getting the ball, dude. What are you gonna do?
Cry.
No one
maybe?
really got the ball yesterday, which is sad, except Jamal Agnew. He was the single person. Jamal Agnew got a freaking 4
when he caught
receptions.
that second touchdown, I was like, no, stop it. Like, that's not helping anyone.
Dude, you told me in that draft with Giants League where you get points for kick returns. Dude, he scored like 1 billion points this week. So in that league, it's double points for return yardage. So he also had 70 yards returning kicks, dude. Well, actually, he had 78 because he also returns the punts. Jamal Agnew in that format, wagon. He's a
wagon, bro.
Hog, bro. Yeah, I'm in very first place in that league. I love that.
Yeah. I don't know why that reminded me of this. My girlfriend has a league where the scoring is absurd, right? Like it's the players are absolutely insane. But last minute decision yesterday, she was deciding between Rashad Bateman and Rashad Penny. And I was like, you got to go Penny here with the weather in the Buffalo game. Like, I know it's tempting to put Bateman in. She plugs in Penny and it's looking rough there for a minute. And then at the end of the game, she looks at her scores and he had scored like 113 points by whatever these absurd scoring system was. And she was down by some ridiculous margin, beat the top scoring team just because of that last minute switch. She's getting the full fantasy experience this year. Like the sweat, the full tilt, the last minute switch, like it's all coming together.
The last minute switch will get you. That'll get you good.
When it works out, it feels so good. You feel like a genius. And when it doesn't work out, you're like, oh, you freaking
I'm an
idiot.
idiot.
Like, you are so stupid.
Dumbass.
No one dumber has ever lived on planet Earth than you right now.
Joey said, "Good morning, fellas. Brutal week for me. Yesterday I had to spend over 3 hours with John Lucas Garofalo and an hour with Coupe Fiatco, rude, and 0 hours with Simone Grutevelvet. Nailed it. I cry. We're sorry, Joey. We hope you survive."
I am sorry, Joey. Yesterday during the games, Twitter could barely hold it together as fans reacted to DK Metcalf's mid-game restroom ride. Reports started swirling of DK Metcalf being carted off the field during the third quarter of the Seahawks' road victory over the Detroit Lions on Sunday. It caused a great deal of concern, obviously, when we see a player of DK's caliber out there on the cart. Adding to this was the relative mystery encircling his departure, leading many to fear for the worst. DK Metcalf got carted to the locker room because he needed to take a shit. Is why he was carted to the locker room.
A big poo-poo. When it hits, you know? There's no reason this should be a news story. Man did what he had to do.
When you're here, your family. Did you see his he even admitted it on Twitter?
Yeah.
It's like, no. That clinch walk wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson taking notes. This is how you own up to having to poop, okay? You don't be like, oh, well, I just had to go back and check my taxes or whatever the hell
I don't care.
Said.
I will never accept anybody being smug about poop because every single person has been in that situation that DK Metcalf was in, and every single one of you would have shit your pants.
Dude, one time,
don't even come at
you don't have a golf cart that can drive you to the locker room.
Exactly.
One time for the Patriots, Larry Izzo took a dump on the sideline. They just like held up towels around him, and at the end of the game, Belichick gave him the game ball.
Where did he poop? Where did it go? Like just like on the sideline, everyone just like walked around it.
Some sort of, I don't know, some sort of bucket or something, dude. Yeah.
In a coffee mug.
That was somebody's lucky bucket.
2000. Wes Welker claims Larry Izzo once earned a game ball for pooping on the sideline during the game. And then it says video. And then it says video next to it. But I think the video. I think the video is of Wes Welker.
I could earn a game ball. I can do that. I can poop on the sideline if that's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
If that's the only requirement to get in a game ball, watch out, Patriots. Here I come. I'm gonna go right over there on that sideline and just take a big old dookie. The DK Metcalf, respect, man. Owning it. We all poop. We all have emergencies. And you know what? I feel like this happens way more often than people are willing to admit. Normalize poop emergencies, okay? Normalize poop emergencies.
Should we get shirts?
Out, you know, if you got a golf cart and you find somebody who needs it,
that'll be our first. That'll be our first show. That'll be our first shirt for the show that we sell. Normalize poop emergencies.
And it's got DK Metcalf on the cart, and then Lamar, like it's got the front is DK Metcalf, the back is Lamar Jackson. We're just normalizing poop emergencies.
We'll come out with a Paul Pierce line.
Oh, guys, coming up, we're gonna break down this weekend's games in a reaction Monday, and then we're playing some poll perception a little bit later today as well. And we'll be breaking down Monday Night Football for you tonight. And then Jim Coventry of RotoWire and SiriusXM is joining the show a little bit later today to hang out with us as well. You are listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Brandon Staley says Joey Bosa suffered a significant groin injury. My goodness, the Chargers. Dude, I'm out. All right, I do this every year. They suck me in. Every year I'm on the Chargers. And what do? They burn me, man. Burn me. Injuries across the board. How was Justin Herbert in that game late? Why did he even play?
That's a good question.
That line moved significantly. It went down to 3.5. So he said, all right, Herbert's probably not going to play. And then on the scoreboard, it said that Chase Daniel was the starting quarterback. Then the line moved again. And, unbelievable, man. So
how much does it have to suck being that guy that tweeted that out? That, on the video scoreboard during dress rehearsal, Chase Daniel.
But when you were reading the tea leaves, you had to be like, you know what? This is not a good play. Like, you can't roll with him. You know he's banged up. There was questions all week. They're a disaster right now. They lost Slater, one of their linemen for the year. They have so many injuries right now. It's the same story with the Chargers every single year, man.
Corey, Nando, and friends, presented by Mayo Media on Better Sports Network.
Allen Robinson, a dog. Once again, a dog. Allen Robinson. Hard to trust him in your lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Trust? Like, I would trust him to do what at this point?
Yeah, exactly. Like, be invisible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This comes from our boy Tommy B. Such an interesting theory. So Tommy would say, and Allen Robinson is like the perfect guy to do this theory with. When a player gets off to a bad start like this, if you drafted highly, don't put him on your bench. Cut him.
Yeah.
Because as long as he's on your team, you're going to think this is the week, and that week is not coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're just eating up all of these bad games. So instead of putting them on the bench and keep tempting yourself, just be done with them. Cut him. And that's where I'm at on Allen Robinson right now. Cut him.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
That's the point people miss with Kelsey. They argue there isn't volatility. They argue that he is the dominant dude every week and he gives you an edge every week. And that's why he deserves to be drafted in the second round. He is just that. I get it. He's the best tight end. But Ray, they're acting like every week is a consistent 15, 16, 17 points. It's just not.
At the end of the season, he's going to give you an A+ performance.
No, within the position, he gives you an A+. I don't need an A+ at tight end. I need A+ at running back. I need A+ at wide receiver. I don't need it at tight end, but people think they do. My argument is, when are people drafting Travis Kelce? People are doing this everywhere, everywhere. And their argument is he's awesome every week. He's the best. We need one tight end. That's it. We need 5 running backs. You're drafting one tight end and you're telling me I got to get the best guy in the second round. I'm going to overpay at a position I don't need. It's just not worth investing in, because even the best guys, they're nowhere near the top 10 on occasion.
Everybody to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. And we got some people in the chat here hanging out with us today. Craig down there, we already said hello to you. Donovan saying happy birthday to Tristan. Do we have a Tristan birthday? Whose birthday is it? Tristan?
I don't know who Tristan is, but happy
JL,
birthday.
do you want to sing happy birthday to Tristan?
Alone?
Yeah, just by yourself.
No. I'll sing with you
Well, then,
guys.
You're our local singer, dude. You
A
handle all
local
the songs.
singer, and I am absolutely not. How did I get
You're
that
a resident
title?
singer.
You've
By
definitely
singing
done
whenever
most
asked.
of the singing on this show. The
Well,
majority
it's
of the
beautiful.
singing.
It's a beautiful Monday to change that. Coop, give us a happy birthday for Tristan.
You know, I actually don't know that song. So
You're gonna
to pull up-
deny.
You know what?
You're gonna
I
deny
got
her
the lyrics.
sixth birthday a happy birthday song.
I'll pull
I
up
got
the
something to
lyrics.
say about I got something to say about this. Happy birthday is way too difficult of a song to expect everyone to sing it. Like if there was a song that everyone has to sing, they should have made it a much easier song to sing. Those are some tough notes to hit in succession from each other. Oh, and it is Joey's daughter's birthday. Tristan, I thought that comment came from nowhere. It was Joey who said that it is his daughter's birthday.
Oh,
Happy
I thought
sixth
you were doing a
birthday.
bit.
No, I saw a happy birthday Tristan in there, but I didn't see Joey's comment, and I didn't see a comment from anyone named Tristan.
Wow,
but
That's
Jail.
hilarious.
Now you did, and now it's even worse that you didn't sing.
That's
Happy
even
birthday,
worse. I
Tristan.
knew it was a
Happy
the whole
birthday,
time.
Tristan, from me and Simon.
From me and Simon, happy
Your
birthday.
gift is in the mail.
Maria in here said there's a book called Everybody Poops. I may or may not have had that in my classroom library and not read it first. It's got some not safe for kindergarten pictures in it. Oops. And then Everybody Poops. Oops. No pictures. I think those pictures are probably safe for work. You got to teach them how everybody poops. And however that book does that, I'm sure it's totally fine. Guys, we had a full weekend of football games. It started at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time and didn't end until close to midnight Eastern time down there. You were up all day watching football. You got a little break from 7 to 8:30, right? You got to pause a little bit in there, but then the football kicked right back up. We're going to start with that early morning game, Minnesota Vikings versus the New Orleans Saints in London. The Vikings coming out on top 28-25, but they tried their best to give the win to the Saints without Jameis Winston, without Alvin Kamara, without Michael Thomas, just an Andy Dalton, Marquez Callaway, Mark Ingram led, Latavius Murray contributing Saints team almost took down the Vikings in London.
Yeah, we've seen this before. We talked about how this could happen. Like Cooper Rush comes in and he's got some plays that, worked in practice with Noah Brown. He's got some timing with Noah Brown, the guys he throws to every day in practice. And that's what they come out with early because he doesn't have time with everybody else. And you saw the same thing with Andy Dalton throwing to Marquez Callaway and Adam Trotman. You got to go with the timing routes that work for you. I mean, if he continues to be the quarterback, I imagine that he's going to, get his rapport with the big dogs eventually. But, that's the way it went. So tough sledding for guys like Jarvis Landry, right?
Yeah, very tough set. But he did get the 2-point conversion. So is it so bad? Are things so bad for Jarvis Landry?
Yeah, you know what, Joe?
This little 2-pointer.
Nice of you to have the optimism on the stream this morning. It was pretty bad. I was hyped to see Adam Troutman out there getting some targets. I feel like that was a guy I planted my flag on when he came out. I was like, this dude, he's the next big tight end. And then I've seen literally
Joey
nothing
said
from it.
she's smiling. Tristan's watching the show, guys.
Oh,
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tristan. Happy birthday to you. Nailed it, guys. Woo!
There you go.
Right
Smash that fun
on.
button. Happy
Smash
birthday,
that fun button for
Tristan.
Tristan.
Didn't know
Happy
she was
6th
watching.
birthday. That was incredible. Guys, on
really
the other
fun.
side of this ball, for the Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins, I thought for sure we were going to see a meltdown, right? Like it was primetime in London. The Saints were coming back. Like it looked like this was the time for Kirk Cousins to pull a classic Kirk Cousins, game-losing interception, right? Like it's just I was sitting there okay, yeah, well, the Saints win this game, obviously, because Kirk Cousins is going to screw it up back there.
Yeah, there's someone who melts under any sort of heat of pressure. It's Kirk Cousins.
I've seen this guy take a knee when he was supposed to spike it, dude. Like, of course, dude.
This is like, it's like funny because Kirk Cousins is like, obviously he's my mortal enemy, but at the same time, his whole career, this has been the thing about him is that he just can't do it. He can't actually, he doesn't have it. He can't do it. And he's never done it. And which is just so amazing that every single year he's the same thing is exactly what we expect. Terrible.
But maybe not this year. Maybe this is his year. 3-1, baby. Scott Fish got to be pumped on that, right?
Against the Saints. Yeah. He tried. He tried his best. He almost lost to the Saints.
Andy Dalton and the Saints, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it, like, I don't know. The Giants being 3-1 really kind of like ruins 3-1 for me. Know what I mean? Like I see
anybody can get it.
I see 3-1 and I'm just like not impressed at all. I'm like, yeah, well, the Giants are 3-1.
Yeah.
Like let's play a couple more
still
weeks.
The freaking
guys.
Giants.
Like come on. Like I don't like it. Truly, like that's my thought.
Let's
process
play a
now.
couple
Like,
more weeks.
Like I know this is a good team, but I'm just like come on. I can't believe anything right now.
And there's Scott Fish. Coop, the record is nice, but man, they do not look good.
No, they do not.
Scott Fish not fooled. Not fooled.
Not
by the
fooled.
record,
Yeah.
Which,
Wait a minute, this is a bad football team.
Fooled. Yeah, unlike my Patriots, who they're 1-3, but they took the Packers right to the wire there. Maybe better than what the record says. That's not true at all.
All you needed was a rookie out of Western Kentucky to unlock that offense, right? That's all it took.
Bailey,
I think that's where he's at, right? Bailey Zappe. Is it Zach or Zappe? Because I heard
it's Zappe, but I like saying Zap.
I like saying Zappe because what if you had a ray gun and whenever you shot it went Zappe instead of Zap? Zappe, just over and over. That would be. I'd let you kill me with your ray gun if it said Zappe.
I'd let you
kill me once. One time.
Justin Jefferson looked a lot closer to his week 1 self than he did previously. 13 targets, 10 receptions, 147 yards in this game. We got anything to worry about with Justin Jefferson? We saw it week 1. He took a couple weeks off, it seemed like, or maybe this Vikings offense didn't get him the ball. And now another huge performance. No touchdowns, but 147 yards.
I don't know, guys. Is Justin Jefferson too good?
Maybe a little bit. He might be a little bit too good.
Then I think there's cause for concern.
I mean, I think the concerns with Justin Jefferson are concerns with the Vikings, right? Like, he's incredible. He's going to have huge games like this. Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp rest of season?
I thought you were going to say Jamar Chase. I was going to slap you. I would rather have Justin Jefferson.
Rest of season? Coop, what about you? Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson rest of season?
I think I still got to stick with Cooper Kupp.
Jail, are there any wide receivers you would prefer over Jefferson rest of season?
Maybe Stephon Diggs.
Okay, but he's up there and like Jefferson's still in that top tier for you.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Coop, you as well. He's up there in that top tier.
I think I still have Jefferson and Kupp 1 and 2. I had Jefferson ahead in the coming into the season. I don't like Cooper Kupp. It seems like you can't really, because the way he operates, you can never really completely take him away. Whereas we did see Jeff Okudah kind of take Jefferson away. So
they just double teamed him. They double teamed him most of the game.
The small tiebreaker there, but those dudes are 1A and 1B to me. And obviously Jefferson just showed why he's one of the best in the business.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coop.
The other receivers on the Viking side of the ball, Adam Phelan with 9 targets, 8 receptions, 72 yards. Coop, I feel like that makes you happy seeing 9 targets to Adam Phelan.
That's my boy, dude. That's my boy. It's and the thing is he's often so touchdown dependent that I do love seeing 9 targets because he's going to have games where, he lives in the shadow of Jefferson. So you just got to hope that shadow is a big one.
Adam Thielen, you live in the shadow.
I like that.
Adam Thielen's villain arc.
I was born in the shadow.
Adam Thielen.
Radio Bayan it's not catching on just yet, but we'll keep trying.
Radio Bayan is the move. You have to keep
what I miss? You know what I miss is auto game. We need some more giveaways.
Yeah. We got
auto game.
Get the game.
Is anything else you want to hit on this one before we move on to this Browns-Falcons game? Any other reactions, takeaways, must-says, insults to throw at Kirk Cousins?
I thought it was interesting that Latavius Murray just shows up like in the parking off the couch, 10 carries, dude. He knows the plays because he's been there before. But I mean, it's just like
I like how your insult like went through this progression of getting meaner. It was like, yeah, he just showed up off the parking lot. Nope, came up off the couch. Nope,
off the couch. Dusted the chips off his sweatpants and was like, I'm just gonna have 10 carries in a professional football game. Like
literally was pooping as he got the call and came over. How much further down can we take this? Was in the shower, sick on the ground.
But we took the stigma off. Poop emergencies, poop catastrophes. So
you're right. You're right. What am I doing? That was a Cardinal
fiascos.
If that was the case, that's just poop fiascos. If that was the case, then that's not a big deal.
Absolutely not a big deal. No. This Browns-Falcons game, the Falcons pulled away with the victory 23-20 in this one, despite a pretty paltry performance from Marcus Mariota, only going 7 for 19 for 139 yards and an interception. We saw some other running backs get involved in this game with Cordero Patterson getting banged up a little bit. He entered the game with an injury. But Tyler Algier, 10 carries. Caleb Huntley, also 10 carries. And seemed like he might have been the goal line back down there. But even besides all that, we had touchdowns for Caleb Huntley and Cordero Patterson. The Falcons pulling out this victory over the Cleveland Browns is huge for the Falcons, bringing them both to 2-2. This offense has been better than expected this year, even with Mariota under center. Do you guys expect this offense to keep kind of clicking along the way we've seen so far?
No. Not really.
You don't think
I mean,
Mariota Dio Ledbetter told us there was the Marcus Mariota reclamation project, though, JL.
That is true. But I say to him, no.
Interesting take. Coop, what about you? Do you think that as well?
It down. And then with this game, I'll tell you, this is the classic blunder, right? Of like Vegas says it's going to be a close game, and the entire public is just like, no. And then it is a close
Vegas
game.
is dumb.
Wins, right? But like Vegas can't possibly be right again, right? And then they were. Like it's every time, dude. Every time they run pull us. The only reason that it almost feels like the only reason that game was favoring the Browns is because the public demanded, right?
Yeah.
But you got to respect them. They know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. They knew Olamide Zacchaeus was going to have 55 yards and lead the team to prominence.
Absolutely. That's what you love to see as a Kyle Pitts manager, right? 1 reception, 25 yards. The worst part is, like, for a large portion of that game, he had 1 reception for 25 yards and he was the Falcons' leading receiver. Like you couldn't even be mad because no one else had more yards than him, but it was just 1 reception for 25 yards. I'm starting to think maybe Kyle Pitts doesn't belong in the tier with Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller. Like it's been what, 4 weeks now? We've gotten 1 good game from him. Like, are we going to see any sort of consistency from him this season?
Oh, we're seeing consistency for sure. I mean, he's scored like 3 points.
Yeah, right.
3 out of the 4 weeks.
So
that's very freaking consistent.
Very consistent, except for that one game, right?
Yeah, one outlier game that you can't expect week to week. All right, he scored 13.7 points.
As a fantasy analyst, I do prefer guys to be good all the time or bad all the time. It makes my life easier, right? Like when it's much easier that way.
Yes, good.
I mean, so every year when I rate my my award nominated. The awards always go to JJ Zacharyson, but this one was nominated as well.
I love how you have this vendetta against JJ because he's like
he gets all the awards, dude. At this point, let's just name the awards after him, so then just let other people win them.
Do good work, and then you win.
I should have brought that up when Andy was on. Andy Behrens, because he's
next
on
time we got to get Andy back on here.
Yeah, we got to get back on. He's like the president. It's just like, enough is enough. But when I write that series, I always write the good and the bad for all the players. And one of the things, probably the biggest thing to highlight for Pitts is that he was not good versus man-to-man last year. And that is especially important in the red zone because you get down to the red area and the defense goes 0 coverage and it's all man-to-man across the board. And you either beat that guy or you don't. And last year he had 6 end zone targets and he only caught 1, right? This is probably a case of a guy coming from college where he was just bigger and stronger and faster than everybody and was just winning those battles. So he didn't work on, the fine tuning, the moves, the separation. And now that everybody is big and strong and fast, he's got to figure that out. He needs somebody to come in and help him with man-to-man because he's been good in every other situation. Good in zone, good with screens. He just needs to figure out how to beat his guy one-on-one. So that's what we need to see from Kyle Pitts. And there have been plenty of guys who never figured that out. Like if you look at a guy like, I know he's not doing it as much this year, but Hunter Henry, that's the reason he scored 9 touchdowns is because he can line up and beat guys one-on-one. Kyle Pitts needs to add that to his game.
Yeah, that example, like it clicked, Coop. Like when I was a kid, I played soccer and all my friends are older than me. I'm young for my grade, right? And so they all moved up to U14. And instead of moving me up, my parents kept me down. And oh boy, was I a freaking superstar that year, right? Like I was just running kids over. I was killing it out there. Then the next year I move up to U14. I was like, oh, these are grown men. Like these are grown men. And I don't even have leg hair yet. And I was just like running all over 11-year-olds out there. And then I just couldn't even compete. And it didn't work out for me. As you can tell, I no longer play soccer. I stopped shortly after that. I hope Pitts can figure it out. Coop, if you had to give a prognosis, do you think he gets it going? Do you think he figures out how to beat man coverage? Like, are we going to see that turnaround this season to lead to a more consistently good Kyle Pitts?
Yeah. So there's more going on this year than just that. Like Arthur Smith has him blocking on more pass plays than he typically does. And he's also not playing all the snaps. Like just yesterday, he only played 62% of the snaps. So unless all that gets on track, then we could be in trouble here. I'm starting to wonder if maybe Arthur Smith doesn't think as highly of Kyle Pitts as the rest of us do. So he has the other guy, that. Parker Hesse, right? Like he has that dude playing like 90% of the snaps, the inline tight end. Seems like he likes a traditional tight end more. So I don't know. I gotta dig into the numbers once we have all the stats, but right now it doesn't look good, baby.
Doesn't look good. Scott Fishing, you're saying inner monologue. Just never let Coop know I'm on the committee helping choose this year who wins those awards. And he said, or let him know and ask him what it's worth to him. Coop, what's it worth to you? What you gonna do for Mr. Scott Fish?
Name your price, dude.
JJ.
Name your price.
I'll fax you some Dogecoin and we'll get this done, baby.
We had a question in here from Sam Chandraraj. I wanted to know, is Jahan Dotson and Rashad Penny for Breece Hall a fair trade in half PPR dynasty? So Jahan Dotson and Rashad Penny for Breece Hall. JL, what do you think on this one?
This is tough because Rashad Penny is tough for me to value. I don't know where his value really is. I don't know what's real, what's not. It feels like he's put this veil over my head and just made everything confusing.
You're being waterboarded by Rashad Penny.
I'm being waterboarded by Rashad Penny for like the last 4 years.
I'll tell you, this is the exact kind of trade that should be going down in your dynasty leagues right now. At this part of the season, the team getting Rashad Penny is trying to win
dynasty.
Yeah, he said dynasty. So in dynasty, the team getting if this is the way the trade is actually going down, the team getting Rashad Penny is in a position to win right now. And the team getting Breece Hall is not doing so well, and they're trying to push their chips to the future. If that's the case, I think this is a great trade for both teams. Now, if you're the team competing right now and you're trading away Rashad Penny for Breece Hall, I think you're doing it wrong. Like at a certain point in my dynasty teams during the season, or even before the season, I decide I'm going to win right now. Like I went out in one league and traded for all the old running backs. Like my running backs are Barkley, CMC, Zeke, and Fournette. And like I gotta win like now. But I'm all in. So I'm definitely trading for Rashad Penny in a league like that. So if that's what the trade is, do it.
Yeah, no, I did not realize this is dynasty. It makes it a lot easier for me. I'm going Breece Hall. Yeah, almost every format. In the case that I'm really that close to contending, I would entertain that trade. But typically, the way I like to play is not. I don't like to wager or put my future on the line for a chance this year, right? If the getting those players, I don't think is necessarily gonna push it up that high. But there is a case where I think that strategy makes sense.
It's the only way to play.
So you said Rashad Penny's been waterboarding you for years. Well, yesterday, if you had him in your lineups, it was almost like he was torturing you in like a mini version of his career yesterday, where it was like bad, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
like
amazing.
Like it was like, okay, we can give up on him now. That was a bad start. And then he's like, just kidding. Look what I can do. And then you'll start him next week and he'll have 3 carries for 7 yards and -4 touchdowns.
Meat Mansion is in the chat, dude. Meat, what's good this morning? It says Mariota's back and Pitts will not be good this season. There you go.
Maybe. Skyfish said, I don't trade for RBs in Dynasty unless I'm trying to win, I think. That comment went away. So I lost half of it.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. If you think that Rashad Penny puts you over the top, then do it. Otherwise, you want Breece Hall.
Yeah.
We had another question in here from B Kings. You want to know, would y'all do Fournette, McLaurin, Fournette and McLaurin for Henry in half PPR? I have depth, and McLaurin I will never play. So Fournette plus Terry McLaurin for Derrick Henry. Jail, you making this move?
Nope. I'm keeping Fournette and McLaurin. I don't think going from Fournette to Henry is going to be the biggest jump up that it would require a McLaurin type value.
Yeah, I mean, if you're never, dude, what a sad state of affairs. Either your team is awesome, or I mean, it has been kind of sad for McLaurin. But like Fournette he said he wanted to play fewer snaps, and he did play fewer snaps this week. So if you're never going to play McLaurin ever, then I would do the trade. But you got to be pretty confident in the depth on your team to say never. But I mean, JL, if the trade was straight up Derrick Henry for Leonard Fournette, who would you rather have?
Derrick Henry.
So there you go.
But it's pretty close, actually. It's not like that far off.
I think it's a 2 wide receiver league, and they've got Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Rashad Bateman, and Garrett Wilson as well on that team.
So it might not be never for McLaurin, bye weeks, injuries. Also, you have to factor in the other team might be one Terry McLaurin away from winning the league. But I don't know. Yeah. I think I would, if you're never going to play McLaurin, then I would do it.
I don't know how many people are a Terry McLaurin away from winning the league.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. But I think Coop makes a good point there, though, that like most people don't think about when they're trading away is you are trading with your opponent, right? At the end of the day. Right. We talk about like the mechanics of trading and why trading is a mechanism that's cooperative, but you got to think about that too, right? You don't want to give up too much value just to get the better team if you're helping your league.
You can't let them assemble the super weapon. You know what I mean? You're helping them build the Death Star sometimes doing those trades. So just be careful.
It's a careful balance. Yeah, very careful.
Because they come back and blow up Hoth or wherever you're living, dude. Like that's
you're gonna be pissed.
Problem.
You'll be pretty upset.
You gonna be when they come back with the Death Star and blow up your entire planet and everyone you know and love. You're gonna be pretty
a little irked.
You're gonna be a little peeved about that.
Yeah. I love this show.
You'll be pretty upset.
You're gonna be a little ticked off when they blow up everyone you know and love.
So Tommy said you ruined the movie for me.
That's not even the end.
That happens like pretty early, doesn't it?
Pretty sure many planets get blown up, unless we're talking about Spaceballs, in which case I think that only happens once.
You ruined the movie for me. Which one?
You said one thing that happens in the entire series is ruined.
Right. Yeah, exactly, dude. I ruined a movie from what, the 70s? When did that come out?
The 70s.
Big Mac wants to know, is Jar Jar a Sith Lord? JL.
Yes.
Answer this question.
Absolutely is. Not a
doubt. I was
going
to say, you didn't let me finish. Answer this question using your best Jar Jar Binks impersonation.
1977. Yeah, please. Without sounding racist, dude.
Lord, methinks.
Misa Sith
Lord. Beautiful. Misa Sith Lord. Pretty good.
Misa trade for Derrick Henry. Why did I sound Asian there? Dude?
Why is this a sheepish Jar Jar Binks?
I told you. Yeah.
Misa
he's always been quite. He's a bit of a cheapish historically.
You're right. Jar Jar is not known for like his bravery. Actually, you know what?
His bolsterous, clumsy.
He's basically like the Star Wars Mr. Magoo. You know, like that one battle where he's just bumbling around and blowing things up.
No one's ever happy to see him.
Hog.
Poor guy.
Which
Hog. Total hog. Jar Jar Binks hog.
He's that guy that like I don't hate him, but every time he's on the screen, I want him to just go the hell away. Like I don't hate him, I just hate seeing and hearing him. Know what I mean? Like it's like why? Why did they have to do this? Why did they have to make this like just wildly annoying, weird creature to be like a major character. Like, it could have just been another human that they called an alien. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't have taken away from the movie that much if it was just like a goofy dude who didn't sound like that.
Right.
It was
Daniel Jones is Jar Jar Binks. Just bumbling around, scoring 2 rushing touchdowns.
That's so mean and so accurate.
Me mentioned in the chat, I kept crawling and it kept working.
J-Wall said, I am the Jar Jar Binks of FYF. No, J-Wall, you are much less annoying than Jar Jar Binks, but maybe in the same reading group. Maybe you guys are in the same book club right there. Guys, we've got a lot more games to break down coming up next. Some real exciting ones like the Bears, Giants, and then some actual exciting ones like this Jaguars-Eagles game that we talked about a bit already. Jim Coventry is also going to be joining the show a little bit later to hang out with us, and we'll be previewing some Monday Night Football and playing some poll perception. If you're enjoying what we're doing over here, make sure you head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button and check out what we're doing over there. We're playing games. We're talking football, and we're playing some more games. It's what we love doing. So make sure you hit that sub button over there. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
I gotta tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you gonna eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast, I get breakfast, Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for
Eat
waffles.
breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's
Well, first
the
of all, I wouldn't
equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
Steak
excellent, by
sandwich
the way.
at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not an
guy.
odd guy. I
Yes,
didn't
you are.
breakfast.
Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that.
Chicken
No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the
Bro,
steakhouse.
do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse and get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffle.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. John Luke, before we move on to this next game, you want to give us a quick recap maybe for people tuning in on the big news stories that we went over at the beginning?
I don't have them ready, so no.
That's okay. Okay.
I have some ready for you. Joey, I texted him to make sure that he saw our rendition of Happy Birthday for Tristan, and he did show her, and he said that she clapped at the end. So good job, fellas.
I can run through those news stories right quick. We had Pickett, who got to play in this game, took over for Mitchell Trubisky after halftime. And a new piece of news that came in right before we're about to talk about this Bears-Giants game. Free agent safety Landon Collins is visiting the New York Giants on Monday. Today, returning to the place where he made 3 Pro Bowls and an all-pro team. Collins would give the New York defense a hybrid linebacker safety option if they reach an agreement. And this is coming from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. And then also DK Metcalf pooped in the middle of a game, was carted off to poop. And those were the big news stories, I believe, from today.
I was going to say the Patriots going to their third quarterback is a news story, but it's kind of not.
We can we'll talk a little bit about Bailey Zappe a little bit later. In this Bears-Giants game, the game of the week, the Giants came out on top 20-12. And Coop, you mentioned it already, but Daniel Jones had 2 rushing touchdowns stolen from Saquon Barkley. 31 carries for 146 yards for Barkley. Barkley's the dude, isn't he? Like, he's just the dude.
Good.
He's reminding everybody of why he was drafted where he was in the NFL draft, why people talk about him as maybe the best back in the game. Like, he's just reminding everyone. He's letting people know this year.
I'm telling you, like, and I to a certain degree factor this in to my like dynasty rankings. Like, when I see quotes from guys, like when you see quotes from Javonte Adams saying that he moved teams because he has a lot more work to do and doesn't want to just, have 2 more years with Rodgers and then call it. Like, look up Saquon Barkley quotes. Like, they are inspirational. Like, this guy he says all the right things all the time, cares about his legacy, cares about the game, says if he wasn't playing football, he'd be talking about it or doing something in the game because he just loves the game. Like, that's the exact kind of guy you want on your team. So I know a lot of people didn't love the draft pick when they took him, but I love this guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, I still think it was an odd draft pick, right? Like, with where the Giants were, but you can't be mad about drafting Saquon Barkley. No matter who it is, the talent, you're not mad about it. It makes sense. Daniel Jones did exit the game for a little bit. Tyrod Taylor came in relief for a couple snaps. But now they're saying that Daniel Jones might have a high ankle sprain. So we'll have to keep an eye on that if Daniel Jones is going to be out. Any interest in Tyrod Taylor as a fantasy option?
I mean, I would say that Daniel Jones, this would be his 3rd high ankle sprain in 4 years. Like, there are certain guys where they just can't get away from that injury. Remember Darren McFadden? Like, he couldn't. Once he got that high ankle sprain, they seemed to get it every single year until his short career was over. So, kind of sad news for Daniel Jones. Hopefully, he's all right and it's something he can get beyond.
Absolutely. And there's reports coming in that they might be starting Davis Webb because Tyrod got a concussion. So Davis Webb would be the quarterback that would be stepping in potentially, not Tyrod Taylor.
Hey, any interest in Davis Webb?
Nope.
I think that's the right answer.
JL, who do you want to massage their feet, Davis Webb or Kirk Cousins?
Who do I want to massage my feet? Or their own
No, you
feet?
have to massage. Yeah, the way I worded that would be, which one of these players would you like to massage their own feet? Davis Webb or Kirk Cousins?
Definitely Davis Webb, not a doubt in my mind. Pretty much in any scenario of how you meant that question.
The first picture that came up when I searched Davis Webb made me immediately think Kirk Cousins. The one with the beard, the one with the unkempt beard.
Hold on, I gotta look.
While you're looking that up,
boy.
Dale.
Oh boy.
Is it bad? Is it that bad?
Those are the feet.
It's just not what I thought he looked like.
I
thought he was going to be more
typically looks
boyish
like.
with a name like David Webb, but he
Yeah.
looks
Davis. Yeah, he's got
David Webb.
He's got some like.
That's his picture on the Giants website. He was like, "That's the one."
That's how he showed up for picture day. Like, he rolled up in there. That's not even his jersey. That's like just an extra jersey they had lying around. He showed up for the day they were taking team pictures, hung over, and he was like, "Oh shit, are we doing that today, guys?" Like, anyone got a comb? And he tried to like get all the tangles out of his beard, but like, there's very clearly like something sticky on the right side of his beard over there that's like causing it to like flare out.
And he's got like one alfalfa hair sticking up in the back.
Davis Webb, I hope you kill it out there, but you know what? Maybe
think his feet are webbed.
Clean it up.
I had a friend who had webbed toes growing up.
Hot.
Hot. Didn't even have him separated. Just kept him. Shout out Christian with the web toes. It was the best party trick at the swimming pool growing up.
Yeah, is he a super fast swimmer?
He's actually a rock climber. He doesn't really use it that much, I don't think.
Maybe he does. Stick that notch right between those bad boys. Hold yourself up. Hang like a bat. Go to sleep.
Scott Fish remember Scott Fish, lifelong ankle injuries curtailed a promising career. Yeah, Scott, you seem to injure that ankle right before the expo every year, huh, dude?
Every single
clockwork.
year. What did he say the other day? He's like, yeah, pumpkin or apple orchards are like the worst place for someone with chronic ankle issues.
Because there's apples all over the ground?
Yeah, all over the ground. You just roll your ankle
It's
on.
a minefield for
it's just covered in round objects to slip on.
Yeah.
The only thing that would be worse is like a marble factory after a big spill.
Like a golf ball or like
or running around on the driving range. There's a driving range that has hardwood floors, and you're running around out there.
Scooby,
you imagine
out there.
Just go into that factory and there's golf balls everywhere, and some guy like Davis Webb shows up all disheveled, like, I don't know what happened. There are golf balls everywhere.
They only hire people with webbed feet because they won't trip on the golf balls.
They don't have to lean down to pick them up. They can just do it with their toes.
Jordan had a question for us. Davis Webb, Bailey Zappe, or Baker Mayfield rest of season? Coop, what's it going to be?
I mean, actually, right now, it's got to be Baker. The other guys, they're the only thing holding the other guys back is that they're not going to play the rest of the season. Like, if you told me that Bailey Zappe was the quarterback for the rest of the season, I might pick him.
Yeah, that the Baker Mayfield experiment or maybe it's the Matt Rule experiment that Baker Mayfield's caught in right now. Whatever experiment they're running with Baker Mayfield and Carolina is not working. But he's the only guy out of those three with a starting job. What were we talking about again? Football, right? I think. And was it a golf ball factory?
Jar Jar Binks.
Somehow the Daniel Jones injury got us to Davis Webb, which got us to webbed feet, which got us to walking around in an apple orchard, which got us to a golf ball factory. And here we are. We're going to try to go back
to the Bears. When you trace it.
Back to the Coop. There were two players on this New York Giants team that had 3 targets, the most targets of anyone on the team. One of them was Richie James. You know who the other one was? The other leading target on this New York Giants team this weekend.
Yeah, it was Daniel Bellinger.
Daniel Bellinger.
Inline blocking tight end for this team.
Is there any is this someone who needs to be on our radar? Maybe in Dynasty. I can't imagine in redraft he's someone that we need to look at, but you did say he's an inline blocking tight end, so maybe not.
That's the problem, is that if he had the full role, then I'd be all for it. But he only plays like 60% of the snaps, and they bring in Tanner Hudson to play in the slot. So Tanner Hudson's played like double the wide receiver snaps that he has. He's actually run more routes in the season. So like he's sapping the energy. Picture like Jonnu Smith and Anthony Ferkser for the Titans, where like if you just took Ferkser's production and gave it to Jonnu Smith, he would have been a tight end 1 easily. Where I think Daniel Bellinger, like if there was no Tanner Hudson and they just used him the way that most teams use their tight end, then he probably would have a big opportunity. But his upside's capped because of that other dude.
It's just an energy vampire. What's that guy's name in What We Do in the Shadows? That's the energy vampire. He's got the glasses. He's like the method actor who used to do the yo-yo pranks on.
I've only seen the movie. I haven't seen the TV show. I got to check that out.
Shoot, what is his name? I'm trying to remember.
Watch that?
I do not.
Loop's got it. Colin Robinson.
Yeah, that's right. Colin Robinson, dude's so funny, and he plays the energy vampire role so well. He just like goes into a room and tells like really draining stories. He's that coworker that like talks just a little bit too long. You know what I'm talking about their weekend, like when all they really did was watch one movie, but somehow it's a 30-minute story. Just sitting there listening to this guy. Is that Bellinger, but with tight end snaps?
I think that's Tanner Hudson. Tanner Hudson's the one vampiring the snaps from Bellinger. Bellinger would be the one that has to sit there and listen to the story.
Like, shut up, Tanner. Just let me get the snaps.
Go away, Tanner.
I can't even get to the targets, let alone the khakis. I haven't had pants on for weeks.
I'm cold.
Tanner, let me get the snaps so I can get the targets so I can get my freaking khakis back. Dable will not return them. On the Bears side of this ball, Justin Fields threw the ball 22 times. The Bears getting absolutely insane with the amount of, like, that's double what he threw in another game, 22 versus 11. But then he only completed 11 of those passes for 174 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And I feel like we started seeing some rumors on the Tweeterverse this week that Justin Fields is quite unhappy on this team, that he doesn't like agree with the coaching staff. Did you guys see those rumors popping around?
A little bit, which is crazy because I don't remember them saying that about Matt. I remember other people saying about Matt Nagy, but not really the players necessarily saying that. So
yeah,
I don't know. Nagy seems to be fine. He's with the Chiefs again. I mean, if this team continues to be bad, Matt Nagy might get another shot, you know?
Yeah, if this Bears team is just that horrible, like it's just consistent, someone may go, oh, maybe it wasn't Nagy's fault. But,
it wasn't.
You know, I think it was a little bit Nagy's fault. Like, when we go back there and watch, without a doubt. Jail, any hope for Justin Fields?
Yeah, there's hope for Justin Fields for sure. I'm not ready to say he's not going to be an NFL quarterback ever. You know, I do think that part of this is, regardless of what you think of Nagy, he left the team in a bad state, right? The team was not covered. They don't have
in Illinois.
They left them in Illinois. God-forsaken state.
Bad state.
Oh God, they're gonna come at me, aren't they?
I don't think they will.
The Illini are coming for you, JL.
The Illinoisans are coming for me. Yeah.
I didn't know you spoke French.
I do.
Say something else. Je m'appelle Jaja Binks.
Je m'appelle.
You're speaking French with a Jar Jar Binks.
Je m'appelle Misa Jaja Binks.
That was, you had all the elements and they were there, Coop. They just weren't mixed in together. They just kind of
Misa want a croissant.
You got French and then you transition to Jar Jar Binks and then just Coop.
Yeah. Not great. Not great.
Yeah, let's see if
I don't actually know any French. That's the only thing I know to say.
Let's see if you can remember what you were talking about before we interrupted you with Jar Jar Binks.
I was talking about Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. Yeah. I don't know that there's hope this season, though.
Nah, I don't know if there's hope this season either. My hope for Justin Fields is that he's on a new team next year.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, my little sweet baby Rays, that I've been saying this whole time, which is that Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet play the entire game. So if they actually throw the damn ball, those guys are going to get some fantasy points, which is what we just saw. Like, even though Cole Kmet only had 3 targets and caught 3 of them, wasn't like he didn't change the world, but he played 61 of 62 snaps, 98% of the snaps. And, 3 targets out of 20 isn't even that bad of a target share. Like, Joe Flacco's throwing 50 times, right? So if this team were to throw 50 times, or he was throwing 50 times, if this team were to throw 50 times, Cole Kmet would probably do a little better than 3 of 3, right? We were saying that the whole time. The problem is they're never going to, which, we have to factor that in. But, for the record, this is what it looks like when the team looks even remotely normal. And of course they lose.
No, I need them to keep losing, because that's the only chance I think we have at this offense changing, right? Like, is if this team continues to lose. But man, seeing them throw 22 and lose makes me even more nervous going forward. Coop, that point you made, I did a little math while you were sitting there, and if they threw the ball 50 times and Cole Kmet kept the same target share, that would be 7.5 targets a game. So you're right. Whenever we're looking at the Jets, we would be thrilled. We would be talking about it in an entirely different light. It's just not what this offense is going to do. There was another pass catcher, one that I was so in love with all offseason. I was hyping him up. I was saying he had top 12 upside. You know what? I wasn't even saying upside. I had him ranked inside my top 12 wide receivers for this year. And so far, it's been nothing but stinkers. But he showed up today. And by today, I mean yesterday. 5 targets for Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions, 94 yards, almost hit 100, no touchdowns. But, man, it was good to see some life out of him. And he had some great catches, some catches that reminded us why Darnell Mooney got the hype he did during the offseason, right?
Yeah, because that's the Moondog, man. Same thing.
Moondog.
You can't catch it if they're not throwing it. As crazy as that sounds. They need to throw it more. They need to just let it fly, because Fields is never going to get better if you just don't ever let him throw.
Yeah.
He still got sacked 6 times, which is ridiculous. So they tried to throw it at least 28 times. 6 of those times he got sacked. They probably, they probably called. I don't have the numbers up yet because Pro Football Focus is the one that charts that kind of stuff. They don't have it up yet, but like they probably did drop back 30 times, and then he scrambled a couple times and got sacked 6 times. So he only threw 20. But what are you gonna do?
Oops. I see Jimmy Anderson in here saying, well, happy Monday, you dickheads. Went with Tua, and that turned out great. But good to see you guys live again.
Not our
Jimmy,
fault.
Got him.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I went with Tua, and
Dude,
I was looking at myself in the mirror
leagues.
going, you idiot, Simon. You idiot.
It's not your fault. It's not our fault.
It's not.
You
No,
got
it's
freaking
not.
injured.
We
Stay
went
clear.
with the information we had available, right? Like, we went with the information we had available
God,
about his
he
injury,
got
about
me.
his status, and we know what
Got
happened
got.
after that. So hopefully Tua's healthy. Hopefully he's good to go, and hopefully he can provide you a lot of game-winning weeks after this once he's healthy and back on the field. But man, yeah, we got.
Yeah, at least take my own advice. I started Tua in so many leagues, and it sucks. It sucks. But injuries are part of the game. It happens.
Yeah, the NFL. I know that the NFL PA is pushing on that. DeMaurice Smith, he's the former player that heads the NFL PA. He's got the hounds out, going after anyone that was involved in putting Tua back on the field there. So changes are coming. Whenever the NFL PA gets riled up, there's always some sort of appeasement that comes. So we'll see what happens there.
I've seen him guest on some shows. We should get him on. Keith, make it happen.
Keith.
He's not responding. I
He's
guess he
freaking
doesn't hear us. He's
Sleeping.
asleep. Someone send him a text. Someone send him a pizzagram, a singing pizzagram to his house. His address is, I'm just kidding.
Yell at him if you want DeMaurice Smith on the show. Yell at him on Twitter. His Twitter handle is, I think I blocked him. Let me just
Keith
put my-
Scope, right? At
Keith-
Keith
At
Scope.
Keith Scope. Hit him up
DMs
on
are
there.
open, I hope.
Yeah, DMs are open. Scroll through all his past pictures and make some memes. I know Craig's
I
already
really
done
say
it.
anything to him. There are no
Yeah.
rules.
Do
You
whatever
can be
you
as
want to him.
mean as you want. He's not a real person.
And he
Yeah.
only responds to DMs that have a picture of your bare feet in them with your name written along the sole. Just
So that he knows
like,
that it's you.
so he knows it's you. It's a verification.
You didn't just steal a
procedure.
picture, yeah.
Exactly. Anyone can find a picture of feet on the internet.
Gotta
Yeah,
send
so-
him the feet pics. Yeah, you gotta send him the feet pics if you want
He
it.
goes, OMG, please stop.
You gotta pay the feet toll if you want to. Hang out with
The feet roll to the feet troll.
Gotta pay the feet toll. Keep the feet troll.
Do you have a question for the producer of Hard Knock Fantasy? You must pay the feet toll first.
Oh,
Can we make this a thing? That
Send me
you
those
have to,
feetsies.
if you want to get your fantasy questions answered, to
he
Keith.
picked two producer Keith. Please.
I like how Gerald, you said,
That's so
Keith
funny.
said, OMG, please stop. And then we immediately doubled down.
Doubled
That
down.
never
yes,
makes
when-
people stop, dude. That never
No.
makes people stop ever.
No.
Because we had a question in here from Lucius said, morning, I'm a Darren Waller
Morning,
manager,
Lucius.
but due to his injury history, also drafted Ertz. I'm starting to think of moving Waller due to his lack of targets, swapping Ertz in for him. Am I off base here?
Well, here's the thing with that trade is that if you want to do it, you need to make
It's not a
now.
trade. He has both of them, and he's thinking about swapping who's starting.
No, I think he's
Like-
saying moving Waller is and moving him trade wise.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
Obviously,
sense. You're right.
yeah, start Ertz right now. I mean, Waller had a good matchup, didn't really even do anything. But I think Waller's going to be fine. But the thing about trading Waller is you have to do it right now. No one, it gets a lot tougher trading for him next week because week 6 is his bye week, and just like inherently, those guys, the value goes down on those guys when they are not playing that week. So if you're going to trade him, do it now. Start Ertz. You can start Ertz for a long time. I think Ertz's bye week isn't until week 13 or whatever, and you only have to worry about that week. Just know that DeAndre Hopkins is going to come back. Marquise Brown is clearly the top target on the team. If Hopkins is Hopkins, which it's not like he's hurt, he's just suspended. Hopkins, and Marquise Brown, then Zach Ertz has a cap ceiling. If I were you, I'd probably just stay where you are now, unless there's huge upside to be had. In fact, what I would do if I were you is I would just lean into Waller, and I would start Ertz during Waller's bye week, and then try and trade Ertz immediately before DeAndre Hopkins comes back, with the narrative of, now that I've made it through Waller's bye week, I don't need Ertz anymore. So that's what I would do if I were you. I would actually go the complete opposite and just lean into Waller. I think Waller's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's got a 16.6% target share in this offense. I think what's happening is what the Raiders did last year, which is that they're not very good at scoring actual points. Like they're good enough to move the ball, but they're not good enough to score.
We're supposed to be nice to Tommy.
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
on Tommy Day, dude. Not Tommy's in the chat talking about
Tommy
fantasy
knows.
feetball, and you're bashing on his Raiders.
Freaking picking grass in the outfield while we're sitting here bashing his Raiders. Yeah, no, I think the Raiders are just not that good at scoring actual NFL points, which is not translating to full fantasy production from these guys, from Darren Waller specifically. But 16.6% target share. Just through first 4 weeks, 6 targets, 8 targets, 5 targets, 5 targets. It's not enough to blow your socks off, but it's fine for tight end. Like you're getting your bottom line is 5 targets a game. You're still sitting pretty good.
And he's playing more snaps than ever at wide receiver. 90% of his snaps at wide receiver. He actually leads all tight ends in percentage of routes run from a wide receiver position, more than Isaiah Likely, more than Mark Andrews, which I like that. So, that's what I would do.
More than Kyle Pitts?
quite a bit more than Kyle Pitts. Although Kyle Pitts, for a couple weeks there, he was doing okay in that. But yeah, so that's what I would do is I would start Ertz this week and next, and then I would trade Ertz.
Absolutely. Guys, we had one more piece of news that we forgot to hit at the beginning of the show. I don't know how we missed this. But Pro Bowl safety Harrison Smith got hit in a very sensitive area in the final seconds of Sunday's win over the Saints. That's why he had to come out stopping the clock, which he wasn't trying to do. From Tom Pelissero, he said he may never have another child, but otherwise he's fine. Harrison
That's
Smith
hilarious.
got
Shout out Craig for putting this one on our radar.
He got a shot straight to the I forget what you called him, JL. The Dugeels. Is that from something, or is that just the word you made up?
I don't know where it originally came from. I got it from Coach on New Girl. He says Dugeels.
Sounds like something they would say on like The Sopranos.
It's like, Dugeels.
Right in his Dugeels.
Give me my Dugeels.
They hit him right in the capicola. Like they hit him right in the gabagool.
Right in the gabagool.
Salad on the side. If it's on top, I send it back. Tommy's saying the chimichangas. Yeah,
chimichangas.
God, can you imagine like that just happening on national television? Like you're just hanging out, playing a football game, and then everyone in the nation gets to watch you just get punched straight in the testes. Like a shot straight to the man jewels.
Butt punt or ball tap on live television.
Butt punt, without a doubt. It comes with that picture. Know what I mean? There's no like glorious picture of Smith's.
It's like a roller coaster. You get to take home a picture from
that we know of.
Sorry, Harrison Smith. I didn't want to just say there were no good pictures of your testicles out there. There might be.
I'm
not
saying,
for me to say.
You give me the contract that Harrison Smith has, and you can on live TV. You could just like hit my ball bag like a speed bag. Like at $60 million, you kidding me, dude? Oh yeah, for 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You wake up, you got to go to practice for a couple.
Coop's like, not again. Can we take today off?
At 26 million guaranteed, bro. Yeah, dude. Fire away, dude. Uppercuts.
Fire away.
Fire away.
Tommy said Kickstarter, anyone? Yeah, let's get a Kickstarter going. If we can get to 60 million, Coop has a new job.
You don't got to get a 60 million. I think about $1 million do it.
$1 million to do it.
We have a question in here from Better Thomas. He's got a 5-leg parlay tonight that he's running with. Wants to know our thoughts on it. Ramsey over 3.5 tackles plus assists. Deebo Samuel over 29.5 rushing yards. Jeff Wilson over 2 receptions. George Kittle under 43.5 receiving yards. And Robbie Gould over 1.5 field goals made. What do you guys think about this 5-legger? Which legs of it are standing out to you?
I like it. You're predicting a pretty lame game, dude. Like a bunch of tackles, carries, under on the receiving props, over on the field goal props. Why don't you see if you can sneak a punt over prop in there too? And just, the game will be 9-3. But is the thing about this bet is that it's a good one because it's realistic, right? Like we all want to bet overs on all the receivers and all the pass catchers, but that's not usually how it works. So I like this one. I think that's pretty solid. What does that pay out? Is that going to be like plus 1,000? What's that payout better, Thomas?
Thomas, let us know.
In the chat.
JL, you like this one? You with Coop?
Yeah. I'm with
Do
you.
something like that. It's got to pay out big time. 10 times, right? 10x.
That's a big parlay.
We have another question here from Aiden. Aiden said, IDK, what to do with Dalton Schultz? So it's not a question, but just a cry for help from Aiden. What does he do with Dalton Schultz?
See with old Schultz if he played a full snap share yesterday. Because that's he's going to get there. Yeah, he played 90% of the snaps. I mean, you just keep rocking in the free world with Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is not going to be his QB forever. He still saw 3 targets yesterday, and it's coming off of a.
He falls in the same category
ACL injury.
as Freiermuth and like those guys, and like Dallas Goedert, where it's like the ceiling's not crazy high because they have so many other options. There's no reason to throw it to him 15 times, but like he's not gonna have many games where he gets you a 0 spot. You know what I mean? Like he did this week. He got 3 targets. Pretty rare for him to not catch any of those. So I think he's going to be okay. Like you look around the tight end world, Dalton Schultz is you got to be feeling okay at least.
Yeah, that tight end world gets pretty gross pretty quickly
Poopy,
after
man.
those top guys. It gets pretty poopy.
People start getting real mean to you on Twitter and stuff. I've heard, or so I've heard. People on Reddit start tagging you and stuff. They're like, dude, Jawan Johnson only got 4 targets. I'm like, dude, I'm trying, man.
I'm doing my best up here.
Just reading the numbers. I'm just
Right?
reading the numbers.
Tell me what Andy Dalton's going to do. It's like, dude, I couldn't possibly. So
Suck.
try. 4 targets is not so bad, bro. Like he caught 3 passes. Dalton Schultz caught 0. So, what do you want from me?
What do you want from me? We got Thomas in here letting us know it was 10x. Got to think Kittle does what he does best and blocks even more than usual with Trent Williams being out in this game.
I really hope not.
Yeah, 10x is what I would go with. That's where I'm at. And we watched Dawson Knox and Kyle Pitts block on like 20% of their pass plays against this Rams team. So not a bad narrative there. Better Thomas.
Like that narrative. Because we have some more games we're going to be breaking down as well as playing some poll perception coming up. And we'll preview your Monday night football game, Rams versus 49ers a little bit later as well. Then Jim Coventry, great friend of the show from RotoWire and SiriusXM, is coming on a little bit later today to talk some football. And maybe some Jar Jar Binks. We'll see what Jim's feeling today. You're listening to we love Jim, and Jim loves Jar Jar Binks. It's his favorite fictional character. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
They could go to Honolulu, and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit.
Right.
But it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games and then maybe you give an extra day. Like you play in San Francisco through Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games. And they come back with it.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So, yeah, like you're saying, Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be they've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
It'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People
Like,
trolling fire in the 7th
they
inning
would
stretch.
make the Giants Park look like, the vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And then you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give lays away. Or, the first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're going to keep breaking down some of these games for you. Before we do that, though, we had a question come in with our friend B. Kings. He had one more trade question for us. He wants to know, should I trade J.K. Dobbins to the Lamar manager for A.J. Brown? Their team is running back deficient and has wide receiver to spare. My team has Hurts, Goddard, and Sanders, and will have Eagles stack, ride or die for their easy schedule rest of season. If you can get this done, do it. Like, if you can trade J.K. Dobbins for A.J. Brown, do it. Unless this is one sitting in your inbox that you're asking us about right now, I doubt you're going to get A.J. Brown for J.K. Dobbins. Even on a running back needy team, I think that owner would just go screw you. I'm not trading away A.J. Brown for J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, if you can do that, that's a snap accept, right? A.J. Brown, bring him on home.
Yes.
Dale, for the first time since break, what are your opinions that you're trying to say out loud?
Yeah.
Are we muted, dude?
No, he wasn't. He was not muted, Coop. Why would you even suggest that?
Shut up.
It's kind of offensive on a Monday.
Shut up. Yeah, unless it's not a secret that A.J. Brown is good, right? So I agree with Simon. It's probably unlikely that your league mate accepts this, but if they do,
yeehaw!
Let's go. Wheels up, baby.
Yep, skiddly-doo.
That's one where you take your pants off and wave them around your head while running around your house screaming yeehaw because you got that
rootin' tootin'.
Jail, I don't know why, but this is for you, this is for Craig, this is for Coop, and this is for all the other members of the Grimace Gang. You saying shut up like that reminded me that today, October 3rd, 2022, is the day that the adult Happy Meals go live at McDonald's, in which there is a 4-eyed Grimace toy that is one of the 4 options you can get in your Happy Meal. Coop, I'm shocked to even hear that you're not in line at McDonald's for lunch already.
I've downloaded the app. I've already ordered it. I've already requested it. I have to get one. There will be one on my desk tomorrow.
Coop's going to get 12 hamburglers and just going to keep on ordering Happy Meals. I've eaten 140 chicken nuggets and I can't find the Grimace toy.
Have you guys ever eaten chicken nuggets until you can't anymore?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you know that it's not actually, for me at least, and my friends of mine, it's not actually that you get too full. That is when you have to stop eating McDonald's chicken nuggets. It's when they start to destroy your mouth because they are just salt. It's all just salt and sharp edges. You have to now I understand why Joey Chestnut dips everything in water because on once you get to 35, man, those things are you're in physical pain.
Coop orders the 10-piece, and by the 10th one, he's dunking them in his Sprite from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh God, that 10th one always goes down.
By the 30th hot dog, that hot dog turns into a hot knife.
It's like eating thumbtacks after a while, bro. You gotta be careful with those.
One of my best friends in high school worked at McDonald's, and they had a Super Bowl 50-pack nugget special where it came in one big container, and he got 50% off. So we just went in there and ordered 100 nuggets for $20, right? It was basically free, and we got ill. That hurt.
Dude.
Absolutely hurt. Oh
I
my.
like to think that it was like you saying ill as in like the Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah,
Sick.
we got
100.
ill. We were the illest in here. Now,
Got
that's
100
not
nuggets,
the
we
worst
got
chicken
ill.
nugget experience. I had the worst one. The Chick-fil-A near, not the one in Clemson, but like in Greenville. One of the ones there was the last Chick-fil-A in the country to do all you can eat chicken nugget night. Like they used to do it once a week. And I went to their last all you can eat chicken nugget night. It was like $14 and it came with unlimited chicken nuggets, unlimited French fries, and then of course free refills on your drink. And I was like, I'm going to eat 100 nuggets here. Like without a doubt, all you can eat nuggets. I'm downing 100 of these. No, I got to like, I got to like 35, like you said, Coop, and I like hit a wall. I was like, oh, we can't keep going. Like this is not going to end well.
You're fighting that war on two fronts. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Right.
Guys, the next game I wanted to talk about was the offensive showdown of the week. Almost 100 points scored in this game. The Seattle Seahawks taking down the Detroit Lions 48-45. Hello, Geno Smith. And I don't know if you were listening to our show and listen to us set up a FanDuel lineup earlier in the week, maybe you would have had the Geno Smith DK Metcalf stack in your FanDuel lineup,
dude,
baby.
And we had Hawkinson in there, bro.
And we had Hawkinson in there. And Saquon Barkley. I think you put Saquon in there, JL. We put up
I think I put Najee. Sorry, guys.
And you put Saquon in there. Just say you put Saquon in there.
Saquon is who I picked.
We should have tweeted that out, dude. We got to start taking more victory laps, dude. Because, I mean, we predicted this game to be the big shootout game, and they almost dropped 100-piece nugget spot on points, dude. What was it? 90?
Dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Where'd
And it was
peak was,
Scoregami,
dude?
guys.
93. Oh, it never happened?
It was Scoregami, yeah. The Detroit-Seattle game.
Hooray.
Dude, no one reacted. I put it on. I was like, quote tweeted the Scoregami account on Twitter. It's just like not a single reaction. Like nobody cares about Scoregami.
I check the Scoregami during the games and it'll be like 0.29% chance.
Yeah. This one was like 90% in like the third quarter. I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
I missed it. I must have just scrolled right past it.
It's amazing.
Dude. That's fun.
You know Scoregami, right? Right?
No, I love that website. It's very aesthetically.
He lived in Japan for a little while.
Oh, yeah,
JL, he's aware.
Scoregami.
For those of you that do not know what Scoregami is, it's a score that has never happened before in the NFL. So it's a completely unique game score. You are part of something special if you watch this one. No one else has ever seen an NFL game end 48-45. This felt like I watched college football on Saturday and then I watch NFL on Sundays, and usually they feel different, right? This game felt like a college game. It just had that vibe. Like they were just running all over the place. It felt like whoever has the ball last is going to win, just like coverage is breaking down. Like it didn't feel like I was watching an NFL game, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like It was a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, and it's like you look at the stats, like college, I always look at the stats and I'm like, how is this supposed to make any sense? It's like the team that lost, their running back averaged like 13 yards a carry. And I'm like, how did they ever not get a first down? But like that was this game. Like, but Craig Reynolds averaged 15 yards a carry. Rashad Penny averaged 8.9. It really is like college stats, right? Like it's just like it doesn't make sense. It's just nonsense.
Jared Goff in a loss threw for 378 yards and 4 touchdowns without Amon-Ra St. Brown, without DeAndre Swift. Like I started getting
without
afraid.
DJ Chark.
Without DJ Chark. Like it was just it was Craig Reynolds and Jamal Williams and TJ Hawkinson running the show. And Josh Reynolds. I know Joey was all about starting some Josh Reynolds this week, said that he would have been a good start. And you know what he was? 8 targets, 7 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown for Josh Reynolds. But Coop, you're the tight end guy. The star of this show was the tight end, TJ Hawkinson, coming out. Was this just everyone else was hurt, and when everyone else is hurt, he's the dude?
So I think in this case it was, but sometimes these games like spark the team to kind of change the way they do things, right? Because he hadn't been targeted very heavily, but he showed this week that he's like a stud. So, sometimes, it takes one of these games for the coaches to be like, oh yeah, now I remember we drafted this guy like 10 overall or whatever it was, and he's a really good player. So I don't think he goes back in the bottle after this game. I think he came out and showed why he was drafted so highly and why he's such a coveted player. So I think it's Tommy Schlockenstein wheels up from here on out.
Tommy Schlockenstein.
That's disgusting.
Hock'em Schlockem robots, boys.
That is so gross. I'm not schlocking any robots, Coop, at least not anytime soon.
Oh, you'll be schlocking them, dude. Schlock them in your lineups.
The only robot at my house is a robot vacuum, and I am not schlocking a vacuum cleaner. I can tell you that much right now.
I've schlocked a few vacuum cleaners in my day.
Oh my God. I don't know. You know that TikTok trend where it's like they're like singing a song, but they're telling a story. Like there's like a beat in the background. They're just telling a story, and it's like one thing about me, and then they just tell this wildly long story.
No.
There was one the other day where this person came on and they said that they heard like that space was a vacuum, and they wanted to know what it was like to pee in space as a kid. And so they peed into their vacuum, and it like seriously hurt them. So then they turned the vacuum off, but then they thought like, I might as well finish up what I was doing. And so they just finished peeing into the tube and left it full of piss. And then their parents came home, went to go vacuum the house, and like, it just like smelled so bad, just straight.
I wonder why.
Just so bad.
If you do geniuses that are on TikTok, dude.
Yeah.
Like guy probably has like 1.7 million followers on TikTok.
Hey, honey, this vacuum smell like urine to you?
If you're the kid in that situation, though, like that's one of those situations where as the kid, if your parents ask you, did you pee in the vacuum? Like everyone knows you did, but you just no.
Was it me?
Nope, I did not pee in that vacuum.
I swear.
Pee in the vacuum. What are you talking about?
Who would do that? What a freaking
I am
idiot.
just as shocked as you are that the vacuum cleaner is full of piss.
I wonder if whoever did it was curious about space.
I'm gonna have to ask them what it felt like, because I imagine it's similar to how it feels in space over there.
We've all been there. Yeah. Space piss.
Speaking of space piss, it's nothing to do with space piss. Squirrel Bob in here said, I broke my rule of not messing with my lineup an hour before games unless massive news, and I pulled Penny out at the last second in a DFS lineup.
I'm telling you guys, bro. Don't do that. Create another lineup if you want to do that. Create the same lineup and play and swap the player. Then you have both players, dude. Because you give yourself the FOMO so hard doing that.
Yeah, just put more of your money on the line.
More money,
That's
dude.
the answer.
Put a team with $1, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's all relative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's $2 to your $1? Am I right? But in this game, we talked a little bit about Geno Smith. DK Metcalf looked great. 10 targets, 7 receptions, 149 yards, no touchdowns. Are we going to get more of this DK this season? I know people were disappointed with him last year. He fell down draft boards because of it this offseason, but this was kind of what we expect from a player of DK's caliber. Are we going to get more of this, or was this just a high-scoring, crazy game where they had to chuck the ball a ton?
A little bit of both, I'd say, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to have a stronger take on that, like, not every game is going to be 48-45.
No, unfortunately.
This is kind of crazy. DK Metcalf, 26.9% of the target share in the season. Tyler Lockett, 26%. Of the target share. These two guys are just like all of the targets. They are just target vacuums in this offense.
Love that for fantasy football, right? Love it.
That's fantastic for fantasy football. Yeah. No, I agree with Coop. I think you'll get this sometimes. I think DK Metcalf and Geno Smith, we kind of know what he is. Like, he can do this, and it's like, oh, yeah, Geno Smith's so good. But, like, we know that there's probably a reason he hasn't been, like, a main starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, he's not going to be consistent. So I'm not expecting this from DK Metcalf every week. He got 12 targets last week, 10 targets this week. Not that in the first 2 weeks. So, yeah, it'll go back and forth.
He's been fairly consistent so far this year. Know what I mean? Like he's been a good quarterback, like an above average. Yes. Geno Smith, like he's been an above average NFL quarterback. Like, I don't know why he hasn't had a starting job watching him play this year. Know what I mean? Like, I'm watching him out on that field through 4 games, and I'm like, man, there were 32 NFL teams, not 32, but probably 6 to 7 NFL teams over the past 5 years that made a mistake not trying to acquire Geno Smith and have him as their starter, because dude looks like a starting caliber NFL quarterback.
That's what's crazy about it is there's only 32 of those jobs in the world, right? Like, we almost never saw Tom Brady. Dude, they gave Drew Bledsoe 10 years, $100 million, right? Like, the situation that led to Tom Brady actually playing was complete accident. That's how crazy it is at quarterback. And there's probably quarterbacks out there that never got a shot that could be studs in this league.
That's so
Guys
sad.
from
to
North
think about.
Attleboro that are, up doing podcasts in the morning, streaming on Front Yard Fantasy.
Yeah, back in my day, I could throw the football over that hill over there.
Over those mountains.
Over that hill. That little baby one?
I was little in high school. I'm not gonna have any lies about where I could have thrown that football in high school. It was not making it very far. Now I lie and pretend like I didn't throw a football far. But still, that's what blows my mind though. Whenever we talk about these quarterbacks playing into like their mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s, is like, if I go outside, like right now, the three of us, assuming we had teleportation machines or we're in the same city at all whatsoever, if we went outside and we're like, let's throw the football around, let's toss the pigskin. If I threw it 20 times, I would feel it for the rest of the month. Like all of October,
before Simon.
But I'm saying like after you throw a football 20 times, my arm like freaking hurts. And these guys are doing it every single day. Maybe I'm just a wimp.
Maybe. Well, you just got to get out there and chuck the pigskin more, my man. Then you wouldn't be tired. Right after the show, go out and do like, I don't know, between 75 and 100 throws through a tire.
75 and 100 pigskin tosses after this.
Through a tire as you can. And record them and then send that to Keith.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I do have a tire in my yard, so I'll just have to
a tire
set
swing?
that up. No, just a tire. It's just a tire sitting in my yard.
All right,
it
prop
looks
it up
really
against
great.
something.
Right.
And try and throw it through it.
I'll prop it up against my neighbor's house and try to throw the football through it over and over
Your
again.
neighbor just hears you launching a ball into the side of their house.
Do it tomorrow morning before the show.
Yeah. I'll get out there at 4 a.m. Central Time and just start throwing it around over there.
Headband on, like.
Wisconsin, my lord, I throw the football with my son like 50 to 100 times a day. Also, obviously, I'm not talking about like just tossing it. I'm talking about really like chucking it, right? Then it hurts your shoulder. Maybe I'm just a wimp. I'll go to the doctor and get my wimpy shoulder checked out, everyone.
I think Scott just smoked you, dude.
I know. Scott coming in there. So got to build up that muscle memory.
I bet Ian can sling it, dude. I bet Ian can chuck.
I've been loving the Ian updates on Twitter. Fantastic. Just watching him just get like super obsessed with fantasy football.
Star.
That is a feel-good series.
He's taking over. 10 years from now, Ian Fish is going to be top dog in this space is what's going on.
Whenever I see someone younger than me who's like got like, they started doing something earlier than I did, I get mad. I'm like, oh, I should have started earlier. The little rascals. Yeah.
My toxic trait is when I see someone who's like a violin prodigy, I'm like, if only my parents would have given me a violin when I was 2.
I could have
done
that.
I mean? Exactly.
Yeah. You think you're in your mind, you'd be so good at the violin.
Dude, I would have freaking shredded those strings.
Like you see like a young, like when Jordan Spieth went out and like won his first Masters, it was like, man, if I was playing golf from the age of 3, that would have been me. Like that would have been me out there. No doubt in my mind. And the best part is it's like grading rookie tight ends. You really almost never have to prove it. Like it just people forget before it comes to fruition.
Wow, that guy is sure of himself.
Yeah, they just think I'm an asshole. We had a question in here. Dobbins plus Ramondre Stevenson for AJ Brown. So add another piece in there. Coop, do you think this is getting it done? If you add Ramondre Stevenson plus Dobbins for AJ Brown?
I mean, it depends how thin you're leaving your own team. Like if you have like running backs coming out of your ears, then yeah, go ahead. But I mean, 2 running backs for 1 wide receiver, you must be loaded at running back.
JL, do you have running backs coming out of your ears?
No, they're not my ears that they're coming out of.
Dumping them out.
Oh, well, I'm gonna ask a different follow-up question.
It's my heart.
Would you take this trade? Dobbins plus Ramondre Stevenson for AJ Brown.
Dobbins plus Ramondre Stevenson for AJ Brown. I would rather have the AJ Brown side. He is a secure.
Stop it in the chat. I said, Tommy, stop it is what I said.
Is that like a better out than in type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, with that trade, you have to know what the rest of the lineup is. Like, if you're doing that trade and then you're like, oh, I'll just start Rex Burkhead or something, then I wouldn't do that trade. But if you weren't starting Dobbins and Stevenson, or if you were arguing about Dobbins or Stevenson in the flex, and now you can put AJ Brown in the flex, I would do that trade.
Absolutely. Guys, let's move on to our next game here. We had the Washington Commanders losing to the Dallas Cowboys 25-10 in this one. It looks like Carson Wentz is maybe coming back down to earth a little bit after that hot start. Didn't look so hot in this game. 25 for 42, 170 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Two. Overall, just a rough game for this Commanders offense. It didn't look very good out there. They didn't get much going on the ground either. Gibson was their leading rusher with only 49 yards on 13 carries. Just uninspiring. Was this the Dallas defense being good, or was this Commanders offense maybe a little bit too hyped up after the first 2 weeks?
It could be either.
Or both.
Or it could be both.
I think Dallas defense is awesome. Like, I mean, I think that goes without saying. The
Dallas defense looked great. Trayvon Diggs looked great in this game. Yeah, I think, we knew Carson Wentz has his limitations. What we've seen so far, we saw him get shut down by Philadelphia. We saw him struggle. I think this is just like the Washington offense with Carson Wentz is not going to compete in the same way against the top defenses in the league. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. This Dallas defense is good. Like you guys said, this is a good defense. Carson Wentz is a average quarterback. Like he's fine. And you saw that in this game. His receiving options, though, Jahan Dotson, we talked about a little bit earlier. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, and a touchdown. He keeps scoring these touchdowns, but he's not getting the targets that we like to see from a consistent fantasy option. What are you guys doing if you've got Jahan Dotson on your team? Is he in your lineup week in, week out, hoping for a touchdown, or is he like a bye-week fill-in kind of guy?
I'm doing this if Jahan Dotson's in my lineup.
You're being a wavy, inflatable tube man?
Exactly. Woo.
Coop, what are you doing if Jahan Dotson's in your lineup?
I mean, if I'm getting trade offers like the one we saw earlier, what was that one? It was Jahan Dotson straight up for
Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I would just trade him for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, trade Jahan Dotson for Christian McCaffrey. Now, he's a guy that I'm holding on to. What you're seeing, you like, and he's a rookie wide receiver. So keep him on your bench for the time being, but maybe by the end of the season, he's a guy that works into your lineup. The other receiving options there, Curtis Samuel led the team in targets, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 38 yards. It just really wasn't a good fantasy day for anybody besides Jahan Dotson on the Washington side of the ball.
If you just mixed in 1 carry for like 5 yards, then that would have been the quintessential Curtis Samuel day, right? Like just a bunch of targets, low ADOT, nothingness. 7 targets, 38 yards. Last week he had 10 targets, 48 yards, I think it was. Like Curtis Samuel is a dude you can play in full PPR if you must only. Can't play him in half PPR or standard if he's going to do this every week, which is clearly what he does, right? Just like a gag.
Clearly what he does. Yeah, no, it's you can start Curtis Samuel, just like bleh. It's not exciting.
Bleh.
Bleh. That's my official analysis on Curtis Samuel. Start him, but
yeah.
His target share is still crazy high after this week.
If he would just go, if he would just go away, like completely.
If he just stopped, just
like if he just
stop.
But if he just went away completely, Logan Thomas, Jahan Dotson, and Terry McLaurin would be much more interesting. Like if one of those
guys
had
the most targets on this team.
He did, yeah, 7 targets.
If you just one of those guys would go away, dude, just go away. And what is John Bates? Why is John Bates on my football field? Also,
John Bates, 6.6% target share.
Stop it, John.
John Bates.
Yeah, I don't. Too thin. I don't want to see 10 different guys get 4 or 5 targets. I want to see one dude get 14 targets.
Bring it in. Tighten
we
it
want
up.
to see DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett getting like 100% of the targets together, not this nonsense. And to top it all off, you're giving everyone like 4 targets, and they're 4 Carson Wentz targets. They're not for anybody. They're not for Geno Smith targets. They're from Carson Wentz, right?
Lame.
Not quite a Geno Smith target. Guys, we're going to keep on breaking down these games and talk some Monday Night Football, as well as our friend Jim Coventry joining the show a little bit later today as well. And if you're enjoying what we're doing over here, head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. We play loads of games over there. And if you think JL's handsome, well, good news. There's more JL right there on that channel. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Work. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing, shot to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Burley picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game. I saw JL saying it, but he was mouthing it is what was going on. Again, not muted. He's batting 100% today.
I thought we said it together.
I thought him being muted would have protected us from that copyright infringement.
No, it's that's 100% original is what that is. It's not copyright infringement
Better Sports
at all.
Get on the game.
Get on the game.
Get in and around the game.
It's the game.
In
and around.
Get in and around the game. That's disgusting.
That's
End around from the game is what we've got going on, guys. We got some people in the chat. Albert says, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, Albert.
Good
Welcome
morning,
back.
Albert. Good to see you, my
glad
friend.
to have you here. And Hal said, "How terrible is the Arizona offense?" And Better Al, they're saying bad.
Al, good morning, Al.
Not good.
What's up, Al? Yeah, that Arizona offense is not good. Do you think DeAndre Hopkins coming back is going to help that team? Like, do you think they're just a Hopkins away from being a good offense?
Nope.
But maybe.
Wait.
Hopkins,
Think about
Hopkins is so good.
Dude, I love DeAndre Hopkins. Don't get me wrong, but he is not the missing piece of that Cardinals offense.
That's what I was going to say. They're going to be better. Like, they're going to be better with DeAndre Hopkins on the field. But, God, this offense looks rough. Like, really looks
Hal in the chat saying they're just a Genius Smith away from being gold. If they had
From being
Genius
gold.
Smith at quarterback, a real quarterback, instead of some shortstop.
Or Josh Rosen.
Yeah, if they had Josh Rosen.
If only they didn't move on so quickly from Josh Rosen, maybe they would be winning.
Or if they had the luxury of having someone like Jacoby Myers on the field who could step in at quarterback. That's what yesterday on the broadcast, I feel like this always happens. Like, I always feel bad for the quarterback that's in, who is the last quarterback on the roster, because it feels like the announcers are always like cheering for them to go down. Know what I mean? Like, they're like, what this means is you would have to imagine Jacoby Myers would be the next man up at quarterback. Like they're not saying I want Bailey Zappe to get injured, but they're saying like, man, I want to see Jacoby Myers at quarterback. Like, the announcers always do that when it happens.
Well, you as an announcer, you got to root for the weird thing to happen. But the funny thing is, we've seen what that looks like, and it sucks. Like, it is awful. Remember when Kendall Hinton started for the Broncos?
I remember.
That was awful.
I remember
that was the worst football I've ever seen, dude.
Dude, that was a hilarious game. They had nobody to play. Yeah. The Giants are pretty close to that, you know.
But we saw Saquon Barkley take a snap under center, right?
He was taking some wildcat snaps, Yeah, when
but then they caught on pretty quick that he wasn't gonna throw it.
Yeah, he was just every play happens to be a run play.
Yeah, it was like they did one run play that worked really well, and the next play there were 9 dudes in the box.
Yeah, and they passed it off to Matt Breida. Saquon's like, here, you take this one.
They got Daniel Jones playing wide receiver. Like they're just throw bum angle,
like hobbled.
Yeah,
he lines up. They're not even taking him seriously.
Of course not, dude.
They're just setting it up for week 17 when Saquon does throw it. They're going to do this every week. Like, at least 3 plays, Saquon's just going to run it straight up the middle. He's going to take the snap and wildcat, run it, and then week 17, they're going to unleash a pass play that gets intercepted on the way to Daniel Jones after they try to trick everyone all season.
He's been practicing his throwing. He's been throwing into Simon's tire in his yard, trying to get those reps up.
Oh yeah, he's been in my yard throwing into my tire. That's for sure.
Every night.
Albert in the chat with the grimace emoji. Coop the grimace toy is back at McDonald's. We're gonna get our hands on one of those. I'm gonna pop into the grimace Discord, see what the chatter is over there. See if people are getting fired up.
Oh, in that grimace Discord,
I almost made a really dumb joke about Grimcord, and I'm glad I didn't. Oh wait, I just did.
Go ahead. Grimcord. That was the joke. That was the whole thing.
That was the joke. That was it. Yeah.
Grimcord.
I told you it wasn't good. That's why I held it back.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad joke.
And you guys asked me about it.
Hey, your workshop. We're workshopping the Grimcord.
We'll workshop that one.
Yeah. You know what? It's not my favorite Discord joke.
We'll get it back. We'll get it back.
You like Datcord? You like Discord? Datcord? Yeah, that's your favorite.
Datcord's the best joke. Like, no, not Discord. Datcord.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why don't you? Here's what we'll do. You'll drop some version of that Grimcord joke every day. We'll just tweak it a little bit until it works. Yeah. You know, like that's how jokes work, right? Right, yeah. Keith's he knows comedy.
Keith's a joke guy.
A big old joke guy.
Keith says, drop it every day. Yeah,
every day.
Yes,
the real comedians do.
Guys, today we are going to play a game of poll perception right now. If you've got questions in the chat, or if you want to call in and play with us, hit that call in button. Come on up here, play some poll perception with us. For those of you that have never played, this is the game that tests our contestants' understanding, knowledge of the public's perception of NFL, fantasy football, and sometimes just completely random things. I'm going to propose a poll to one of you guys. JL, I may ask you, what percentage of people chose side A in this poll? You're going to give me a percent, 32%. The closer you are to the actual percentage that chose side A, the more points you're going to get. A max of 10 if you're exactly right, 1 if you're 15 away. It scales up in between there. Coop, before I reveal the actual answer, though, you will be responsible for guessing whether you think the actual percentage is over or under the line that JL set. So his guess, if you get that right, you will add 2 points to your score. We're going to alternate who's answering back and forth for 4 polls. Then on that 5th poll, you'll both be guessing a number. Whoever has the most points at the end of that last round will be our poll perception champion for today. You guys ready?
Yep.
Real quick before we get into that, dude. First of all, there's a lot of chatter in the grimace Discord, but my favorite part is that I just logged in, and the last message it says K Ruth joined the server yesterday, October 2nd. Craig. So the most recent message in the Grimace Discord is that Craig Ruth also joined the Grimace Discord.
Where did you, is this a Reddit thing that you found this?
I forget where I found it, dude. But
so Craig, this isn't, you didn't make this for the Grimace gang. This is like a pre-existing Grimace Discord.
Oh, it was well established already. There's like 30 people in here already. And now me and Craig are both in there too. I love that Craig also was able to find it, dude. There's a funny thing is that there's a section under text channels that says nudes, right? And I was like, do I click this? And whatever stream I was on, I was like, you have to. Dude, it's all just pictures of French fries.
Outside of their sleeve, I'm guessing they're not in their McDonald's sleeve anymore.
Some of them are in the sleeve. Actually, some of them are in the sleeve. Some of them are in the sleeve.
I like how the only way to find out that channel is only pictures of French fries is to be curious enough to be like, I want to see these Grimace dudes.
I was fully expecting like a shaved Grimace, like photoshopped, like nude Grimace without any hair. Do you think it's a big fluffy coat where he's actually like a little guy underneath, like some of those dogs? Oh, it's a skin suit. Yeah, that's disgusting. Maybe now we play poll perception instead of thinking about that.
It has to be hair, bro. It has to be hair.
It has to be hair. I
Short
agree.
hair.
I'm not even going to entertain that this could be a skin suit anymore. JL, since you said skin suit, you do not get to pick who goes first in this one. Coop gets to pick. Do you want to go first or second, Coop?
Skin suit.
Coop is going second. JL, you get to go first in today's game. Are you ready for your first poll?
Yep.
Okay, Coop, could you maybe send out the link to people that are asking for that Grimace Discord, or is it an exclusive club?
Got an invite only type deal. I'll get you the link. I'll get you the link, Jay.
Jay, I don't think he's going to send you that link.
He's not
I'm
gonna
sorry.
send
You
it to
just
you.
don't have it cut out for the Grimace Discord.
Yeah, you
It's
don't got
awkward that
the it factor.
He can be in. He can be in.
Hey guys, if you have to ask, it's probably a little awkward what the answer is going to be.
I
JL, you ready for your
Yes.
You ready for your first poll?
Yes.
Which NFL offers? Okay, well, Simon, are you ready to tell JL his first poll? Now I am. Which NFL wide receiver off to a slow start will still be a guy that wins you a fantasy football Super Bowl? This one comes to you from Mason, Spain. Option A, Allen Robinson. Option B, Brandon Cooks. Option C, DJ Moore. Or option D, other. What percentage of people said Allen Robinson in this poll? You want me to take the others out of here and just do from the three names that were listed?
That's up
leave
to you.
the other in there.
Let's
leave the other in there.
Can you read it again? I was sharing the Discord.
Yes.
I can't share a Discord link in a YouTube chat.
Which NFL wide receiver off to a slow start will still be a guy that wins you a fantasy football Super Bowl? A, Allen Robinson. B, Brandon Cooks. C, DJ Moore. D, other. What percentage of people said Allen Robinson in this poll?
And I'm going first. Allen Robinson, I think, is probably the guy that wins this one, or other, depending on how people chose other. Allen Robinson, no one picked Brandon Cooks. There's no way. People just don't respect Brandon Cooks enough, me being one of those people. I'm going to go with 32%.
32%?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Jail going with 32%. Coop, do you think the actual percentage is over or under Jail's guess of 32% that picked Allen Robinson in this poll? And before Coop guesses, a reminder to everyone in the chat, if you want to play along, throw your guesses in the chat. We'll shout you out if you're right. We'll mock you if you're wrong. Coop, I'll also mock you if you're wrong. So what do you want to go with here?
A lot of stakes here. The fact that there's an other in there makes me think that other's going to get smashed here. So I'm going to go with under 38.
Coop with the under on Jail's guess of 32%. We had some guesses in the chat. Albert coming in with 10%. Squirrel Bob with 33%. Working Grind with 23%. The actual percentage of people that chose Allen Robinson in this poll was 22%. JL, you're within 10 percentage points, so that is going to get you 3 points. And Coop, you correctly picked the under, so you are going to get 2 points for getting that one correct.
Yeah.
JL, you said no one's going to pick Brandon Cooks, but Brandon Cooks actually won this poll with 37% of the vote.
Dumb.
Maybe more in second with 29%, and Allen Robinson, besides other, in last with 22% in this one. People are giving up on Allen Robinson, I think. I think they're listening to Corey's advice in that little break, saying drop him.
That's what Corey said?
Yeah, Corey said drop Allen Robinson. He said he's the kind of guy where if he's sitting on your lineup, you're going to be tempted to play him every single week. Is this the week? Is this the week? He said drop him and let someone else make that decision.
Wow. That's bold.
I'm not dropping Allen Robinson, but I don't blame people for kind of moving away after 4 weeks. Jail, it sounds like maybe you still got some hope.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the Rams still. I think this Rams offense just needs to get their ish together, you know? They'll figure it out. Allen Robinson, they paid him a bunch of money. He's still getting, 11.9% target share in this offense. You'd like to see that higher, considering Ben Skowronek is beating him. Yeah,
JB Cho in the chat saying, don't drop A-Rob. Let him get situated in LA. Yeah, I'm not dropping him. I understand the concerns.
Can't drop him. Yeah, if you have him, you got to hold him and you got to wait. And you got to wait until he has a big game. If you're really convinced that you need to trade him away, he's not going to do that. I'm fine doing that, but do it then. For the love of God. Do it then. Do it then. Why does Tyler Higbee have 23.8% target share in this offense? Coop, Mr. Tight End.
Come on, Coop.
It's driving me nuts,
that
dude.
to me.
Dude stinks. He's not
Every
even
week,
good.
Coop watches the team and he's just like, God, Tyler Higbee, why are you getting all these targets?
You gotta feed the guy because he's slow and he's also racist. So.
And that's the analysis about Tyler Higbee. JB Cho knows what's up. He said hashtag never Higbee.
Never, dude. But his usage is better than it's ever been. So I did have to move him up in my rankings begrudgingly, but I just don't like him.
Begrudgingly.
Or as a person.
Is that a word? That's not a word. Begrudgingly
is a word.
Begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly is what I said.
Not begrudgingly.
Nope. That's what I said. I said the right word, and you can't
play the tape back.
Yeah. So, yep. Get him. Get Allen Robinson. That's right.
That would be fun if we could just scream like play the tape and Keith immediately had the video of us from 10 seconds ago.
Only Keith is better at his job.
Come on. Let's get some immediate, like I want every 30-second possible of this show as immediate clips that you could then play on callback at any time, Keith. Let's get that together.
That'd make for a good show.
We're going to move on to your next poll here. This one comes to you from New Era Zach. It says, which would you rather have? The best pass rush or the best secondary? What percentage of people said they would prefer to have the best pass rush?
Ooh, I think more than half would pick pass rush. So I want to say that I'm going to be above 50% on pass rush here. Just because no matter how good your secondary is, like nobody can cover for more than 10 seconds, right? Like we've seen those plays that go on for forever. Doesn't matter how good you are. That's too much following dudes around. Shifty fellas. So give me over 50%. I think it could be as high as 75%. I'm going to go with 72%. Says they would take the pass rush.
72% from Coop on the pass rush side. JL, what are you thinking here?
He went 72?
He went 72.
Can you read the question again so I can get a firm hold of the wording here?
I will read the question again so you can get firm holding on this question.
Thank you.
This comes from New Era Zach. Which would you rather have? The best pass rush or the best secondary? What percentage of people said the best pass rush?
72 is a pretty good number. I'm going to take the under because I think a lot of Twitter probably doesn't know what pass.
JL taking the under on that one. JL, you feel like you have a firm grasp on that poll?
Yeah, very firm, I'd say.
Very firm grasp. Firmly grasp it. So Coop guessed 72%. JL taking the under on that one. And the actual percentage of people that chose the pass rush in this case was 66%. Coop, you were 6 percentage points away, which means you're right outside of that 5-point range. So you are going to get 3 points.
Meat bonk.
JL, you are going to get 2 points.
More points than you.
The under. You guys got the same amount of points right now. You're sitting at 5-5. It is
suck it, Doofus.
Don't meat bonk me.
Suck it.
Don't meat bonk me, Chief.
Chief, hey pal, watch it, buddy.
Bud.
Bro.
If we're tied, Coop, that means you're losing.
Bonk.
We
had some good guesses in the chat.
Dude, what game if it is meat bonk? Why don't we play that game again?
That's true.
I forget what game that even is.
Game if you meat bonk hard enough.
If you meat bonk
Family
hard.
Feud. The Fantasy Feud game is when we use the meat bonk.
Look at JL's face, dude. If you meat bonk hard enough. JL's like
We had some good guesses in the chat on that one. JB Cho and Squirrel Bob both only 1 percentage point away with 67%. Tommy only 2 away with 68%. Then Albert 3 away with 69%. Every guess in the chat was a good guess. And we've got a tie game. 5-5. Coop to JL.
The stakes are high.
Meat bonk in the hog. And we're back to the hog.
Bonk in the hog.
Would that make me meat bonk?
Yeah, you're meat bonk now. That's your superhero name is Meat Bonk. Imagine like a knockoff comic book about Meat Bonk the man.
Meat Bonk.
Imagine.
That's his full name. Last name the man. First name Meat Bonk. JL, are you ready for your next poll?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if Christian McCaffrey were to miss any time, who gets the higher workload in Carolina? Side A, Deonta Foreman. Side B, Chuba Hubbard. What percentage of people said Deonta Foreman in this poll?
Oh, gosh. People really don't like the Tube Meister for some reason. I don't know why.
The Panthers don't like the Tubester, dude.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. I'm voting on the Deonta Foreman side, right?
You are voting on the Deonta Foreman side.
Okay, I'll go with 42%.
42% from JL Coop. Do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Deonta Foreman in this poll was over or under JL's guess of 42%?
So you think more people like the Tubester?
Sorry, I switched it up.
Nope, can't change it now. I pick over.
It's fine. I'll take 42. I was
you
thinking the
can
other
change
side,
it.
52.
So make it 58. Oh, 40.
42. Yeah, 58 is what I meant.
Okay.
Whatever the opposite of what I said.
58 is probably exactly right now because that actually sounds pretty close.
That's fine if you want to give me 42. I will accept that ruling, Simon. You are the host.
We'll take it. Coop hadn't given his answer yet, and it sounds like that's what you were intending to say. So we'll go with
this.
58%.
This game is already hard enough, JL. Like this game is already ridiculous. We're trying to guess what Twitter thinks, dude. Like, get out of here. You can pick 58 if that's.
It doesn't know anything.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's okay. The number is 58. I still think it's going to be over. I think people remember Deonta Foreman being very good last year, filling in for Derrick Henry. Fantasy gamers. I feel like the mind of the Twitter fantasy gamer is just like a mishmash of, things that you vaguely remember. And I think a lot of people vaguely remember that he had like 300-yard games last year for the Titans when he had one game where it was like 130 or something. So give me Deonta Foreman. Chuba hasn't done anything really. Yeah, I guess, but Tommy's right. People do like saying Chuba, so you get a couple points for that, right? So yeah, but give me the over on Foreman, over 58. Definitely over
58. We got some guesses in the chat. Squirrel Bob with 47%. Tommy with 35%. Hal in here with 36%. JB Cho, that was on the last one. Albert with 55% over in the YouTube chat. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Deonta Foreman in this poll was 70%. JL, you are within 15 percentage points, so you're going to get 1 point, bringing you to 6. You're 12 away. That switch earned you some points. Coop, you're going to get 2, giving you 2 points and giving you a slight lead going into your final poll, 7-6. Oh, ever so slight.
Meat bonk.
That's you, Coop.
That's your meat bonk, Coop.
That's my little
right there.
Tennis.
It's your meat bonk. That's just your little meat bonk.
What just came out of your mouth, sir?
What did I say? I think we were all just saying meat bonk. I didn't say anything. I definitely didn't say tennis.
It's like, yeah, I heard meat bonk again there. It's so weird. I just keep hearing meat bonk.
He said Geno down here.
Meat bonk me a new poll.
Tennis. Who would you rather roster rest of the season for PPR leagues? This one comes to you from Nick Script. So who would you rather roster rest of the season for PPR leagues? Side A, Chase Edmonds. Side B, Ramondre Stevenson. What percentage of people said Chase Edmonds in this poll?
Oh, man. I followed Nick Script, and I did not see this poll. I should probably pay more attention to my friends.
Coop has like an existential crisis saying, like, I only have limited time with each one of them, and I didn't even see this poll from Nick.
Podcast.
What am I doing?
Sorry, Nick. Sorry, Nick. Love you, bud. Didn't see your poll. Didn't see your penis.
Sorry, Nick. Didn't see your poll. Maybe next time I'll be a better friend.
Didn't see your poll.
What is this
see your
show?
poll.
It's nothing against your poll.
Poll watch.
Just that the opportunity hasn't presented itself.
Sorry, Nick. I didn't take a peek at your poll. I'm gonna have to say that more people would want to have Jumanji Stevenson. So let me. I'm gonna go with a classic meme answer and say 35% of people would pick Chase Edmonds.
3-5 straight vibing. 35% from Coop. JL, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Chase Edmonds is over or under Coop's guess of 3-5 straight vibing?
3-5 is a good guess. I will take the over.
The over on Coop's guess of 3-5 straight vibing. We got some guesses in the chat as well. 72% from Hal, 23% from Squirrel Bob, Albert going 33%, and JB Cho taking the over. Also, Hal in here saying, what is this show? It's off the rails. We live off the rails.
Why don't
we never were on the rails?
Why don't people like Mondre, dude? And also, I probably should have asked this before, but when did he ask this? Did he ask it last week or did he ask it like yesterday?
No idea.
Cool.
Keith, what's up? When was this poll asked? I'm assuming all of them are from the last couple days.
We've already answered. The chat's already answered. 29th. Okay. So this is before this week.
The actual percentage of people that chose Chase Edmonds in this poll was 20%. 20%. So Coop, you get 1 point for that. You are exactly 15 percentage points away. JL, you get nothing for that one. It's going to give Coop a slight lead of 8-6 going into our final poll. Hallen here saying, wow, I am very bad at this game. It's a tough game, man. Like Coop said, we're trying to read Twitter. And as soon as you think you got to read, they just switch it up on you.
Yeah.
Change up how they're answering these things. JL, Coop, you each got a piece of paper and pencil ready or pen? Or
I do.
Fingernail polish or blood or whatever you're going to be writing with today?
Yep.
Yeah. Both.
You got all that.
My notepad that I use for this already has percentages drawn on it, and it also has a picture of Joey I drew with like stink lines coming out of his face.
Oh, that's
so stinky.
Yeah.
So
that's how I know it's my poll perception notebook, because it's filled with percentages and pictures of Joey.
Yeah, my notebook is just filled with like random writes and boxes for Fantasy Fortune all over that place.
Well, guys, here's your final poll. Comes to you from Tony Jones 000. Tony Jones wants to know, which of these 4 movies is your favorite? Side A, The Departed. Side B, Pulp Fiction. Side C, Goodfellas. Or side D, Shawshank Redemption. What percentage of people said The Departed out of these 4 options? Again, the 4 options are The Departed, Pulp Fiction, Goodfellas, and Shawshank Redemption.
Damn, good flicks. Tony Jones Jr., how you doing?
How you doing, Tony? You watching some movies this weekend?
I'm walking here.
I'm walking over here. Tony, what you doing?
Why don't you go to the back of the line with your shoes and stand there with your shirt?
Yeah, put those meatballs back in your pocket.
Bacon, egg, and cheese from the bodega.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Tony Jones Jr. What movies does his friends like? Probably Goodfellas.
I was gonna say there's a very clear answer here, an obvious one.
Tony Jones. Like I love the show.
Mafia flicks.
I do want to say that this is not Tony Jones, the football player. It is Tony Jones 000 on Twitter. So this is not Tony Jones of the NFL. This is just a guy, an Irish Italian guy who posted this. That's what his bio says on Twitter.
Just an Irish Italian guy posting polls on Twitter.
Hey,
don't mind me, Tony Jones.
You guys got your answers?
Posting the polls. You know what I mean, guy?
Let's see what you got. Coop, what does that say? 16% and JL with 25%. We had some guesses in the chat. Tommy going with 1% and then said, all right, we'll change to 15. Hal said, if it's mass, it's 100%, but then saying 19% as his answer. Squirrel Bob with 22%. Albert with 21%. JL, you guessed 25. Coop, you guessed 16. The actual percentage of people that chose The Departed over Pulp Fiction, Goodfellas, and Shawshank Redemption was 7%. Coop, You are our poll perception champion for today.
Go.
And which of those movies are you picking?
I just want to thank Tony Jones Jr. for posting such a good poll, such a smart poll, right? Tony's like, I'm gonna go post the polls. I think of those movies, I actually think the thing is my favorite and the best one are two different things. I think the best one is Shawshank Redemption, but I think my favorite is Goodfellas.
Is Goodfellas?
Yeah.
It's funny because I was going to say something similar around. I think Shawshank is probably my favorite, but is probably not the best movie out of this.
Right. It's like, yeah.
I think
was
probably
it
Pulp
best or
Fiction.
favorite?
Which of these 4 movies is your favorite?
So my favorite is Goodfellas, but I think the best one, like if I was going to be like a film critic, I think Shawshank Redemption is probably the best one. I love all 4 of these movies. Pulp Fiction is.
They're great movies.
I have to confess something.
You've never seen all 4.
I really hope Joey isn't watching this.
You look away.
One of the 4 I've seen
Pulp Fiction?
is The Departed. The Departed is the only one of these 4 movies that I have seen. I watched it on.
Now I'm mad at you.
How have you not seen Shawshank Redemption?
It's literally like IMDb's #1 movie.
It's on me. I'm wrong. I'm not even going to defend it. But
The chat is very upset with you.
It's not even a tough watch. It's like a
You actually
watch.
you said the one you saw was The Departed?
The Departed, yeah.
So
that's
you've
the one with
seen
Matt Damon.
You've seen the worst
right?
one of the 4. Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people like the Departed, but probably
It's good. Oh, I like The Departed.
Yeah, a lot of people like Goodfellas.
I just like
phenomenal.
I don't like Matt Damon in movies. He always breaks the like reality for me for some reason. All I can see is just like
Brent.
Yeah, but like I always just see Matt Damon. Like I never see the character that he's playing. It's just like, oh, what's Matt Damon getting into this time? Like I don't see him as the character he's playing. I only see Matt Damon being Matt Damon in every movie he's in.
That's a weird flaw.
I think what broke it for me is if you've ever seen Team America and they've got the Matt Damon puppet that just runs around screaming Matt Damon. I think
why?
So
every couple of years somebody reminds me of that movie exists.
You've seen Team America, but you've never seen Shawshank Redemption.
Never seen Shawshank Redemption, but
when
Team
did
America.
I ever claim to be a man of taste? I've never once claimed to be a man of taste.
Like, get it together.
And you guys are right. You guys are absolutely correct. I should see it right there. And yeah, people in the chat are just roasting me on that one. Just very upset right there.
So.
Coop, you are the champion of our poll perception game. How's it feel?
Just feeling strong and handsome and better than JL in just about every way. So not that I'm just trying to be humble about it, but
it's just a normal everyday life for Coop.
JL, how do you feel after that game? Pretty good.
I feel strong and handsome.
You are
also like Coop.
Producer
but
Keith
I also
says,
feel like a loser.
Producer Keith says JL loves the Shawshank so much that he has a tunnel behind his Higgins jersey. And Simon won't get that reference.
I know what the movie's about. That's like whenever people are like, only 90s kids will get this, and it's like a really popular pop culture reference. Like,
about.
Shut up.
I feel like a lot of people have claimed that they've watched Shawshank Redemption, but they've only ever watched the Family Guy episode where they basically do Shawshank Redemption,
Which
like
is
remake
so good. That Fantasy Guy episode is so good, dude. When he's
literally
like,
just the same thing.
when he's carving the stuff out of soap or whatever, like the things he goes, oh, good. Grievous, wicked, like that cracks me up every time.
I'm gonna watch Shawshank Redemption this week, and then I'll report back on whether or not it's better than The Departed. But I have a feeling it will.
Hollaback, Hal, the Hollaback girl. I don't know what a Hollaback girl is. We got to get instead of watching Shawshank Redemption, we got to get Jake Trowbridge on to do his Morgan Freeman impression and just kind of give us a rendition of it. Because
I'll ask Jake right now. He'll be here tomorrow to do it.
Get him on, dude.
There was a girl I dated in college, and I went over to her house for dinner, and I was talking to her dad, and her dad had like a thick Boston accent, right? Like he's from Boston. He was a little bit.
Can you give us a taste of what that sounds like, Coop?
Absolutely not. Oh yeah, Coop.
No, Simon, you do it.
Coop, you know better than all of us. You're Mr. Masshole.
No, it's much more funny when people from outside of this area. So go ahead. Why don't you guys get
maybe when we get there? That. But we sit down at dinner, and I'm like asking him about his work, and I'm like, what do you do? Like he works at a golf course. I'm like, what's your job at the golf course? He's like, you ever seen Shawshank Redemption? And I was like, I lied because I was scared, right?
Yeah,
and I was
I love
like,
that
He goes,
movie.
well, I'm basically Morgan Freeman. Anything you need, I make it happen in his thick Boston accent. I had never seen that movie, but based on what he said, I was terrified sitting at that dinner table. Like it felt like a threat. Was that a threat? Was he threatening me?
He was threatening you, yes. For sure.
Like that was one of the first things that man ever said to me was Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. That's me at my job. We had a question in here from Albert. Albert wanted to know Miles Sanders or CEH rest of season. JL,
No.
what are you doing with
No, I'm not answering this question.
So two guys that aren't quite getting the usage that maybe we hoped they would get, but having production anyways, right? Like maybe non-sustainable production. Coop, JL said no to this question, but who are you going with?
I'm going with Miles Sanders, man. I wrote the article this offseason on why I like Miles Sanders, and I obviously included the fact that, Jalen Hurts was going to steal some of those touchdowns, but the difference is that Miles Sanders has always been efficient. His career yards per carry is like over 5. Last year, he ran for 5.5 yards a carry, and this week you saw what that looks like when he actually does score himself. I know Kenneth Gainwell scored 1 and Jalen Hurts is going to steal some, but he's at least reliable in the sense that, he's the lead back. He's going to get a number of carries every week, and he runs for 5 yards a carry. So, it's hard. There's not too many guys out there doing that. CH isn't doing that.
Yeah, the answer is probably
Slime.
It's probably
Say it.
no. I'm going CH. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
No.
I'm sorry.
Why?
I can't.
No.
I can't.
Boo.
What's wrong with Miles Sanders, bro? What don't you like about Miles Sanders?
Miles Sanders is better than I thought he was going to be because they're giving him the volume that they haven't in the past. Like you said, Coop. I'm just reiterating that. What annoys me.
Miles Sanders is running back 9.
What annoys me about this is Clyde Edwards-Helaire he's not really passing the eye test. I'm not seeing what I want to see out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which makes me worried. Miles Sanders, I'm worried the rug is going to get pulled out from under him at some point during the season.
Why?
They're pretty close.
Pretty sure they play on grass, not on
because the Eagles don't use him consistently like that. They haven't done that. So I think it's
either
more
guy is
likely
consistent. It's like you're starting one guy who gets carries and doesn't score any touchdowns, all get vultured, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is basically playing shovel pass roulette, dude. Like it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm having trouble with it. That's exactly
you're right,
what I'm saying.
Right. It is difficult. You just start them and hold your nose. That's the kind of players these guys are.
Yeah.
In the flex, ideally. Make you feel better.
I'll go Miles Sanders. I'm gonna go Miles Sanders.
Yes. Shut up, JL.
I got more trust that he's like the lead back there, even if touchdowns are going to be vultured. But CEH definitely better than I thought he was going to be. He seems startable week in, week out. CEH is a guy that you can plug into your lineups for sure. Man, I feel like there's a couple of those guys that everyone was sleeping on that are showing up a little bit. CEH, Cordero Patterson,
Jamal Williams is like RB6.
God, that's wild. Do you think he has a role even when Swift is back? Like, has he earned a permanent role in this offense?
Touchdown,
like a Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon kind of situation, or is it still just going to be goal line carries?
He had 4 touchdowns through 3 weeks. Scored 2 more this week. He's just the heart and soul of that team, dude. I wish every team should have to do Hard Knocks so I can see who is the heart and soul of the team and who has the funniest anime jokes.
You know, and saying someone's the heart and soul of their team is very much so like they're the anime character in that team as well. It is full on anime.
He is full anime.
Guys, coming up after this, we're going to have our friend Jim Coventry from RotoWire and SiriusXM joining the show to talk a little bit Monday Night Football and answer some of your fantasy questions. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
Surely. Kickers never retire, I think. They just continue playing for all eternity. Like, there's only ever been 30 NFL kickers.
Yeah, they're always readily available too, it seems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just get called up. They're like, you kicked for us 10 years ago, right? Why don't you
run it back? Let's run
I imagine
Graham
every
Gano.
single kicker that gets the call is on a high school football field somewhere just practicing field goals after hours. Like it's like 9 p.m. and they're out there just at the local high school kicking field goals, and the phone rings. They get a call and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I've been practicing for this.
I have an amazing kicker story if you guys have a second.
I got a couple.
The number 1 all-time field goal kicker is Adam Vinatieri. The next two guys are Morton and Gary Anderson, right? Gary Anderson was a dude from like South Africa that just played rugby and soccer. He just could absolutely boot the ball, right? They bring him over and he does like a tryout and he's just absolutely crushing the ball. And all these colleges are like, dude, we want you to come kick field goals for us. And he goes, I don't even want to play football. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, so if I can come to your school and play soccer, I'll also, in the fall, I'll kick for the football team. And Syracuse was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, you're on the soccer team. Like, come on. And he went to Syracuse to play soccer, but also kick field goals. And then he ended up being a top 3-point scorer in the NFL all the time.
That's ridiculous.
And his answer to recruiters was, I don't want to play football. I'll do it in my spare time.
Yeah. He's like, you got a spot for me on the soccer team. Syracuse is like, yeah, we got a spot for you.
We don't even care about our soccer team.
We don't even care.
We totally have that spot.
Right? They had to like cobble together a soccer team. This guy's the captain.
Oh my God. It's like Accepted, the movie, but they just like had to throw together a whole fake soccer team.
Somehow they still got Justin Long.
Right, yeah. Like, Adam Sandler's the coach. And dude, imagine they win the national championship. That's a movie, dog. Yeah.
Boom!
Someone call up Disney. Yeah, we just wrote a movie for you, Disney. This has Disney sports movie written all over. I'm borderline crying right here just thinking about this movie right now.
Dude, the story gets even crazier. Like I should have looked it up again, but like it was like a high school coach that went and found him, and then that high school coach ended up being somebody crazy famous that like coached for the Rams.
Stay tuned for sports. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. And joining us right now is one of our great friends, one of the best minds in this industry.
Yes.
We've got Jim Coventry coming on the show. For those of you that do not know Jim, he's a fantasy football and NFL contributor over at RotoWire NFL and a weekend host over on Sirius XM Fantasy Football. Jim, thank you so much for coming on with us today, my man.
Always love hanging out with you guys. Highlights of an opportunity that I don't get enough, but I'm happy whenever I'm here to join you guys.
You can join whenever you want, bro. You're Jim Coventry.
Nice.
What's up,
Jim?
You get to go where you want. You get what you want. Doesn't matter.
We got Jay in the chat already saying Jim is the GOAT. Indeed, Jim is the absolute GOAT. Jim, we had a whole week of football open. JL said, I'm out of here. He was intimidated by you, so he said, I gotta leave.
Jim's replacing JL, dude. It's finally happening. It's finally
scaring him off, man. Scaring him off. Not good.
I've requested it every morning for like the first 3 weeks here, and finally it's happened. Jim replacing JL. Thank you, folks. Here we go. Good job, Keith.
Jim, I want to get your take on one of the biggest news stories from this weekend. We saw Kenny Pickett take over for Mitchell Trubisky in the Steelers offense after halftime. What'd you think of his debut, and are we going to see more Pickett, or was this just a halftime benching for Trubisky?
Oh, I don't know. You're not beating the Jets, and that's not a good sign. And, I always thought the veteran leadership in the locker room was going to probably rattle Mike Tomlin's cage, basically saying, look, dude, we need to win here. We win every year, and this year we're not doing really well. Tomlin, I think, planned on keeping Pickett out, and we saw why he wanted to keep him out yesterday. I mean, 3 interceptions, not so good, right? No. And actually, every pass he threw was caught. 8 were caught by his team. 3 were caught by the other guys. So at least he throws a catchable football, right?
Yeah, that is true. I didn't even think of it that way.
Oh my gosh.
We were kind of looking at it like if he is the starter moving forward, like what a rough slate to come in and start for, because he did technically start this game, so his first start would be against the Buffalo Bills, and then I think they get the Bucks. Like it gets, the schedule is pretty nasty here. So He's in for some rough sledding.
It's going to be difficult for him. Now, the one thing I did notice that there was a change in philosophy when he came in, because remember, it was a close game throughout. So it wasn't like they were down 20 and they had to come in and throw the ball all over the field. Yet the passing game went from very conservative with Mitch to much more wide open with Pickett. Now, there are two possible reasons for that. I think Trubisky was purposely making safer throws to keep his job, because I believe the playbook didn't change, but he was checking down. If anything was questionable, he was so skittish about losing his job. My opinion, I could be wrong. But you notice when Pickens came in, all of a sudden, Pickett came in, George Pickens became a thing. The two Pickett and Pickens. So he became a thing. And Pickens gives them a verticality which they desperately needed in that offense, because the problem with Ben Roethlisberger was everything was compressed and defenses could play them that way and really make things difficult. So I think just having Pickett in there does open things up, and they do have personnel. Now, Deontay Johnson, it was weird because he was arguing with Trubisky at one point on the sideline. He ended up with just 4 targets, 2 catches, 11 yards. I think Johnson's the loser here, though, because that may not be a stat line, but he's lived on quarterbacks force-feeding him targets in the short game. I don't think Pickett's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Big Ben was great for the low ADOT guys. Like he had the fastest release of any quarterback in the league, which is crazy because Tom Brady's release is insane. And Tom Brady, if the play doesn't look good, he just grounds it immediately, right? And somehow Big Ben was, getting it out faster than that, which is good for Muth. It's good for Deontay Johnson. So changing of the guard here could be good for the guys that get downfield. Claypool, another guy that's a little higher ADOT. So interesting point. It kind of makes me hope that Pickett stays, because I do have more of those other guys than the short ADOT guys.
And stat, JJ Zach Reason tweeted out his regular weekly data dump. It was George Pickens' target share by week. Week 1, 8.1%, then 9.1%, then 21.9%, and then week 4, 32% target share. Pretty high.
Welcome to the NFL, George Pickens. That's if Kenny Pickett's staying on the field, that'll be exciting to see what happens over there. And man, I just feel like year after year, and we've said it a bunch of times here, everyone says it, those rookie wide receivers, if you drafted them, just hold on to them. Don't drop them through the first 3, 4, 5 weeks. Keep them on your roster, because sometimes it takes a minute for these wide receivers to get in. And then second half of the season, I'm not saying it's going to work for every one of them. Maybe Sky Moore doesn't work out, right? But if you drafted him, you owe it to yourself to at least have the opportunity to pay off on the upside for why you drafted these guys. And Pickens, maybe we see that sooner rather than later. That would be pretty exciting.
I think when you mention that, it's important to understand you're completely correct. When you're drafting a receiver with specific skills, you're like, I drafted him because he has these skills. Sky Moore, I'm glad you mentioned him, because we drafted him for potential opportunity. Maybe he wasn't that elite talent some of the other guys were. And when that opportunity isn't there, like Sky Moore, I did dump him. But like you said, the other players that we drafted on traits, yes, they're going to possibly come through. So that you hit the nail on the head there, Simon.
You didn't draft Sky Moore because your league gives you points for fair catching punts, right?
Or fumbling. Or
attempting to fair catch punts. Your league doesn't give points for that.
Point per fair catch called, point per FCC, PPFCC leagues. You guys are in those?
Yeah. Sky Moore probably not super valuable outside of those formats. Yeah.
PPFCC, yeah. Unless you're playing in one of those really hot, cool PPFCC leagues, it's not going to be too relevant.
I'm in a high stakes FFPCC league.
$1,000 buy-in.
$1,000 buy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sky Moore's an absolute wagon in that league, dude. Jalen Rager.
Yeah, total hog.
Hog. Tonight we've got a fun matchup. The Los Angeles Rams going to San Francisco to play against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers actually favorites in this one, 1.5 favorites at home with a 42.5 point over under. Who do you got in this game? Who's gonna come out on top?
I tell you what, the first thing I look at is Trent Williams, the left tackle, is out. And oh my gosh. And their interior line was struggling as it is. Aaron Donald potentially is going to have himself a night here. That's the first thing I see when I look at this game. I know. But on the other side of the ball, the 49ers front seven is nasty, and that allows their cornerbacks. Well, they have Charvarius Ward now, so they actually upgraded there. So that's a defense that's very hard to sustain drives against. So I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Now, what Kyle Shanahan has had success with in the past against the Rams is getting the ball in the hands of his receivers before the quarterbacks engage. If you remember, Debo had some ridiculous receiving games against him in the prior years, and it was because of the quick hitters. And he, again, the route combinations also and those short plays were used to really set up what the Rams like to do defensively. And the Rams are without a cornerback, Troy Hill. That's a big loss for them. I think ultimately the quick passing game they're going to have to do that more than ever because of Aaron Donald's ability to overtake that line. So I think the 49ers have some level of success. I think they win the race to 17 points, and that might do it.
Yeah. And based on what you're saying, we had a guy in here, Thomas, earlier, Better Thomas. He had a 5-leg parlay that he put in the chat. One of the legs, though, was George Kittle under 43.5 receiving yards. And his reasoning being that with Williams out, they expect George Kittle in line to block. So are you agreeing with that? Sounds like you like that one.
Yeah, I was calling that all weekend. I was trying to tell people with Kittle, you got to start him because Kittle always has 40-point upside. I go, but for the next few weeks, yes, they need him to block. He is a devastating blocker, both in the run and pass game, but really in the run game. He's insane there. Oh, you're absolutely correct. He is an offensive lineman. His route participation, I think it has to go significantly down.
Last year, week 10, they only threw 21 times. Kittle was on field for 20 of 21 snaps, but he blocked on 4 of those plays, which is, we look at George Kittle is the one tight end over the last 10 years that's been able to finish top 5 blocking on 15% or more of his pass plays. I've been tracking these numbers for a while now as part of this tight end business I've been doing. So he's kind of the unicorn. It's like him, Gronk, and then you got 1 year from Julius Thomas. Those are the guys that have done it. But like you say, it lowers your upside. You might as well be off the field if you're going to be blocking, right? If Trent Williams was here, it'd be a lot easier. But we watched week 1, Dawson Knox blocked 27% of his pass plays against this Rams team, right? Week 2, Kyle Pitts hung in, played in line, blocked a ton. So it could be rough sledding. Like you said, in fantasy football, you got to start Kittle, but I'm not betting any of his over props just because, you got to look. Coaches aren't playing fantasy football. Being able to block is incredibly valuable skill, right? So that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Albert in here saying he needs 13 points from Debo Samuel tonight. Jim, based on what you said about this game script, do you think that Debo Samuel is going to hit that 13-point mark in a PPR league?
Like I said, divisional game, they've had success. The Rams really don't have an answer schematically for what Shanahan's been able to do with Debo, and they don't have the level of talent they had in the infrastructure of their defense. They've lost some critical components, and it's not something like Jalen Ramsey can do anything about it because, again, we're getting the ball in his hands before the defense engages. And so, yes, I think Debo has to be the centerpiece here. The Rams have been nasty against the run. Jeff Wilson's doing just fine. But again, Trent Williams is out. That's a big component of that run game. It's going to have to be the short passing game. And I know it'll work.
Yeah, I'm pissed that Trent Williams, the season he had last year, man, give the guy, you don't have to give him MVP, but give him offensive player of the year or something for the kids, dude. Half the kids out there play line, right? Especially Pee Wee football. It's one dude's getting the football. Everyone else plays line. Can we just create an award or something? Or just you're telling every kid in the world that they can't be the best player on their team. Trent Williams was the best player on the team. And I thought one of the best players in the league. Just give him an award one time and then I'll shut up and everyone can shut up. And you can say that you one time did it. You know what I mean? Come on. And now it's if you weren't going to do it last year, then they're never going to do it. So sorry for ranting there, but we need an award for offensive linemen.
As long as we have the media voting for it, it'll never happen because the media has no idea what's going on with the offensive line. They're just watching the ball. Now, you're right. If we had NFL execs or players voting, he would win.
Exactly. Yeah, they're good. Tommy in the chat, the Hog Award. We need that Hog Award.
At the end of the season, let's give out a Hog of the Year award to our favorite offensive lineman, and let's make a trophy and figure out how to get it to.
There it is. Yeah, I'll tell you, front runner just based on who I think it would be funniest to give it to, Creed Humphrey, right? Like Creed Humphreys, he seems like he was made for the Hog Award, right?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So Jim, I gotta ask
right there.
The center for the Chiefs, Like he's first of all, he was awesome. First team All Pro as a rookie, but when you look at him, dude, he looks like a Hog Award recipient. Right? But before we get too far off that, Jim, I want to throw it at you because I think this is the funnest prop bet tonight. Deebo Samuel over under 29.5 rushing yards. What are you thinking?
They're backing off him as a runner in the last couple of weeks.
I saw that.
And it surprised me because part of his problem with the team last year and the acrimony in the offseason was they were using him as a runner too much. And he got paid. I assumed that part of that negotiation was that's going to shorten my career. We're not doing this. But they ran him like 8 times in the opener. But I've seen it scale down. So I think that's starting to go away. And
they put it in his contract. He's got like incentives in his contract. I think he can earn up to $1 million if he hits a few incentives.
So that's important. Overall, I don't think so. I think the Rams are outstanding against the run. And teams this year are looking for him. Last year, Deebo caught a lot of teams off guard. NFL teams are very bad at making adjustments in season. They usually in the offseason take a grander approach of specific players, situations. Deebo's not having anywhere near the same level of success as a runner, and the Rams are very familiar with him. So there's no trickery going on here. So I think that's going to be an under. I think he's going to do very well in the passing game because, as I said earlier, the history of Shanahan being able to scheme through this defense to get Deebo positioned. But I don't think it's happening in the running game tonight.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I love that insight though. Like that, just them knowing how to scheme against Deebo is super valuable.
Right. Yeah. No team has been like you build your team to win the division. You're right, Jim. So if Deebo is being a problem like he was last year, then this team has been thinking about Deebo all offseason, right?
Being a problem. Just if he's being a problem.
He was being a problem, dude. He had 1,400 yards and like just receiving and all that rushing. So he was a huge problem last year.
That was like, I feel like this offseason, at the beginning of the offseason, I was like, man, no way Deebo can finish as high next year. He said he doesn't want to run the ball as much. He said he's not doing it. And then I went and looked at the stats and I was like, where the hell did those 1,400 receiving yards come from? Like how did he have so much on the ground? Like it was one of the stats that and DK Metcalf 12 touchdowns last year were probably like the two most shocking, like where it didn't match necessarily what I thought happened at the end of the year. Like Deebo Samuel 1,400 yards, DK Metcalf 12 touchdowns, and then I don't know, DJ Moore 163 targets last year was another one that didn't feel like it, right? But man, Deebo, he's the truth, man.
Yeah, well, let me get at you guys with this is a game we play sometimes, Jim. Real name, fake name. Everyone give me one answer. Real name or fake name, Deebo Samuel. Is that his real name or is one real, JL?
Real.
I'll go real.
Not his real name. His real name, Tyson.
I knew it.
His real name is actually, first of all, Deebo is a super cool name, but his real name is actually also super cool. Tyson Raekwon Samuel.
That is a great name.
That is a great name.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm the only.
I love playing that game because it's like it's hard to know. It's hard to know.
Deebo Samuel's only flaw is going to the University of South Carolina. Apart from that, it's perfect.
He should have gone to Clemson.
I forgive them once they leave South Carolina. Know what I mean? You leave South Carolina, all is forgiven. I hope people don't judge me for the decisions I made in college. No, I'm not going to judge him for the decisions he made.
We do.
Oh, you do?
I said we do.
People eats out of a tree or whatever you were doing there.
Yeah, eating pizza out of a tree.
It was a bush. Thank you very much. And it was Italian cheese bread. So
a stubby tree.
A stubby tree. Jim, we had a question in here earlier that JL immediately answered no, didn't want to answer it. And I think we debated it for a little bit. And I wanted to hear your take. 2 running backs that have outperformed their draft costs so far this year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Miles Sanders. If you had to pick one of those running backs rest of season, would you want Miles Sanders or CEH on your team?
Oh, man, it's a great question. Miles Sanders is now over 60% of the snaps. Edwards-Helaire is still seeing like 40%. So, to me, he's had some really good fortune, but I don't know the sustainability of the few touches he's seeing going forward. He's been great, but It seems to be one of those things. Like he's on a hot streak, but he's not getting enough snaps. McKinnon last week had outsnapped him. I still have a chart of the snap numbers for their game last night, but that worries me. So Sanders has so far become the number one guy. I have to go with Sanders because I think his floor is significantly better than Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire has some ceiling, but if he isn't punching touchdowns, and he's not scoring touchdowns every week, I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. But Sanders is getting it done both in the red zone, which are always there, but so are the Chiefs. But he's getting a lot of carries. I got to go with Sanders.
Yeah, that's what we like to do, Jim. We like to get our guests on and ask them impossibly difficult questions.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's right. It is a tough question, but I'm on board. I'm on board with you on that one. Though I pulled up this last week. McKinnon played more snaps because he plays more pass snaps. This week, Edwards-Helaire did play more than him. It was only 56%, but McKinnon and Pacheco kind of mixed in a bit there. But yeah, I'm with you. Miles Sanders is just too efficient to go away from, even if Jalen Hurts is going to steal those touchdowns. And if anything ever happens, God forbid, and Gardner Minshew is the quarterback, then it's wheels up for Miles Sanders, right?
Well, that's a tricky one because understand the running game. We know the Eagles have a great line, but the math on the defensive end, when you have a mobile quarterback like Hurts, it opens up some insane running lanes, back cuts for your running backs. So I get what you're saying. But Jalen Hurts could be a big factor as to why Miles Sanders is doing so well.
That's very true. Yeah, the RPOs and all that stuff really does open it up. So it's a catch-22 almost there.
Absolutely.
Even those touchdowns, though, I need the touchdowns. If you took Jalen Hurts' touchdowns and gave them Miles Sanders, he'd be super high end. He'd be RB1 overall, right?
If only fantasy worked like that. If you could do that.
Oh,
another running back that probably I think people are ready to give up. We've talked about him. Dale said rostering him is like being waterboarded because you just never know when that next little drip is coming. But Rashad Penny had himself a crazy weekend as well. Started out slow, but then ended with 2 touchdowns, 151 rushing yards. Do you put him in that same category kind of with CEH and Miles Sanders, or how are you viewing Rashad Penny the rest of the season?
You know, it's troubling because we don't know what the usage is going to be. In week 2, when they really needed him, 41% of the snap share, and Travis Homer at 45%. Walker was even in the mix with like a quarter of the snaps. And then, all right, last week it got better. Penny at 69%, but only 14 carries, did a little bit with them. Finally, in week 4, we saw the 2021 version of Rashad Penny where he went nuclear. But it was weird because he hadn't done a ton in the first half of that game.
No.
The game became this crazy shootout. And Detroit's horrible on defense as it is, and now they were horrible and tired. And so I don't know what to make of it. I know Penny's talent is unquestioned. He is a player who I think is amazing. But at the end of the day, is Kenneth Walker going to get more run, or is one game going to pull Penny away? But it shouldn't be, because Pete Carroll knew Penny could do this, because in 4 or 5 games to end the season, he had at least 135 yards and a touchdown. So he knew what he had. And yet it was only 17 carries yesterday. It wasn't like Penny had 40 carries. He just went off because he can do that kind of thing. I wonder if Carroll's worried about his injury history and maybe keeping his snaps down. So I don't think he's getting enough volume to merit him being like last year. I mean, if you have him in fantasy now, you got to start him next week, but it could just be where he goes back to, 14 for 60 again.
And that's saying, oh, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was just say that's exactly why I feel worried about Rashad Penny. Like, that's exactly what I was talking about. Is it just feels like at any moment it could disappear.
Wait, they're not going to play the Lions and score 100 points every week?
Coop, stop exaggerating. It was 93 points.
Ridiculous.
You're being insane. Yeah. It wasn't 100.
And they do draw the Bears twice. So. No, they don't. I'm sorry. I was thinking the Lions. Sorry.
Lions,
no,
yeah. Well,
Seahawks,
yeah.
They the Cardinals. They have the Cardinals twice. There
you
That's
go.
Even better.
Exactly. Dude.
That's even better.
I was going to say, if there's 100 points scored in a Bears game, whoever's playing them scored 90. If that's going to be a very heavy game on the other side over there. Speaking of the Bears, this is a team that has been rough to watch. I was very in on Darnell Mooney and a Justin Fields bounce back season breakout this year, but it doesn't look like it's happening. Jim, is there Is there any hope, or should I just fully give up? Like I'm on that line of just saying I'm done for this year.
All right, I was fairly heavily invested in Mooney and Komet, and I am not trying to make a case for what I did wrong. I'm trying to look this forward. In the Bears' first couple games, I kind of saw – first we had the monsoon.
Yep.
Then we had the Packers, and I don't think they ever wanted to deal with that secondary. I don't think they wanted to put Fields in position there. And then the third game came in, and Fields threw 17 times. So now we got a problem. But at least Mooney did see 6 targets in that game. So he saw a 33% target share. Didn't do a lot with it, but did something. Finally, yesterday, I think we got a snapshot of what the season could be like. The Bears played a defense that was okay. But what those defenses who are okay are going to do against the Bears, they know the Bears don't want to throw now. So they're going to come in and they are going to load up to stop the run. I didn't think Khalil Herbert was a good DFS play yesterday because I kind of think through how teams will approach, and the Giants did exactly that. They're like, well, fine, we'll go stop your run. Go ahead, Justin Fields, see what you can do. At least Mooney, again, 5 targets out of 22 passes. It wasn't the greatest target share. He caught the long pass, ends up at 94 yards. It's not great. Wide receiver 3-ish based on the 5 targets. The numbers may have been a little better. But I think at this point, teams are going to approach the Bears that way. I think under that scenario, we see Mooney operating on all levels of the field. He's not just a deep threat. He runs, short, intermediate. He has a great route tree that he utilizes all routes. And they're going to roll out Fields a bit too, and they're going to roll Mooney with them. I think Mooney will be a wide receiver 3 going forward. He'll have a couple games where it's just implosion. But I think most teams are going to, again, approach run first, and that's going to open some things up for him.
Yeah, no, I like that. You're giving me a little bit of hope, but that makes sense. That does make sense because we saw the Giants employ that successfully this weekend, and teams will probably notice that and take the same approach going forward. Jim, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just want to say that's what I love about Jim, and I actually think about your Twitter profile often. It's the why that matters, right? That you have it right in there. The why is what matters, right? So it's like, no one's ever going to get everything exactly right. Just continue to focus on the process. Continue to think about why where we are and why we're starting these guys, and it'll at least make a little sense to you. So, now that they threw the ball, even though it was only 22 times, now it makes more sense because we see what it looks like when they actually throw, right? So it's like now we understand why we drafted these guys the way we did. Cole Kmet played 98% of the snaps. That's why we drafted him, right? Did we know that this team was going to be just not even a real team? What are you going to do, right? So thank you, Jim. We appreciate you coming on.
You're the man, Jim.
Man. You are the man.
Such good insight as always.
Thanks,
Truly.
guys.
And to piggyback off what Coop said, I said it in the chat at the beginning before you even hopped in here, Jim, that you've got a crazy football mind. You understand the game better than most people in this industry. And I always love just tapping into that a little bit and getting to hear your takes on some of this stuff. Jim, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, go and follow our friend Jim on Twitter. He's on Twitter at Jim Coventry NFL, and make sure to check him out this weekend over on Sirius XM Fantasy. Jim, thanks so much for coming on again, my man, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to it. Have a great day. Good luck in the rest of week 4 and in week 5.
Yeah,
my man, me too.
Yip skiddly-doo. I don't know why I keep saying that. Like whenever you guys say yeehaw,
catchphrase.
Whenever you guys say yeehaw, my brain just goes yip skiddly-doo.
I assumed that was just like a Boston thing that people in Boston said yip skiddly-doo.
Yeah,
we do. Yeah, we get a little bit country up here in Boston.
A little bit of country.
Not a little bit rocking.
Not even a little bit, dude. Not even by accident.
Guys, rapid fire before we go. Let's predict winners for tonight's game. Dale, who's winning tonight? Rams or 49ers?
49ers.
Coop.
Rams.
And I'll go 49ers. I'm with you, JL. Everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. We will be back tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. But in between, make sure you're hanging out here on Better Sports Network right after this. You've got Moose and Keith, followed by Lunch Money, and then Corey Nando and friends after that. But like I said, we will be back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, though, we are out of here. JL's going to sing happy birthday one last time on the way out. See you guys tomorrow.
I'm not.
Get it, JL. Hogs up.
Oh, come on.
Happy birthday, Tristan.
Happy birthday, Tristan.